I never noticed that Ava's little whiskers moved on her PFP. That's fun.
So, we don't have to. So we don't have to read the order that they're there. That's just the order they were
Yeah.
submitted. So I typed them out that order.
Oh, it's in read-alongs. Okay, I was like,
Oh
what am I?
yeah, I'll
I'm
put it
looking
right.
at?
I'll put
Okay,
it
okay.
in the. I'll put it in
It's
the.
all good. It's all good. How do you bold in Discord again?
Stars, two asterisks before and after the word.
Two asterisks. Okay.
Yes. Or it's just like, where's my fic? Where's my fic cartoon?
What are you talking about? Which fic? Which,
Where's my fic?
which story is it? The gift fic.
I assume for the Santa thing.
You mean to save this Christmas from this great evil? Yeah, it was read last week. So why would it be in this
Not.
list if it was read last week?
What the heck is that GIF?
Oh no! I'm like,
The messiest baptism I have ever seen.
it's so violent. Can we out of here
Wait,
really quick?
what? Wasn't it read last week? What's going on?
Like, was War not there last week? Perhaps one of the first chapters.
Oh, okay. You read more of it. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay. There's more.
okay, sure. Well, it wasn't added to the list again, I don't think, but oh yeah, it was,
No, no.
and it says cartoon is reading it. I thought that was from something like I just it was
I
read
thought it was
last
like
week, and
duplicate.
so it was
Okay,
still in the list.
okay, okay. So cartoon was right. You didn't need to dunk them. All right.
Uh, there you go. I'm recording. The event has started. We have the list of things to read.
All right.
6 stories. 3 of them have a person who's reading it, and then 3 of them require someone else.
Okay. I have to decide which one I'm reading. What is it? Mine. Who wrote 100 Years Later and Extra Healthy Pancakes?
100 Years Later is by Fract. Extra Fluffy Pancakes was, I believe, by Awesome Domi, and it was a fluff Christmas gift fic.
Oh, fine. Okay. A nice change of pace then. Got it.
Actually, it was Asconite's prompt.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
fine. Okay.
I like the extra fluffy pancake. It's actually a really dark, grim, angsty
I mean, it could be.
It could be.
Knowing Domi.
Oh yeah, true. That's true.
He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's my first time getting to write fluff instead of eggs."
Yeah.
I guess he couldn't
I
make it today.
Oh,
yeah, it's
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
I mean, so yeah, there's someone who like really wants the story read, like, or a cartoon.
Yeah, I always recommend it's like, well, if someone's gonna read more than one thing, they just should like space out when they read what for their voice.
Well, if nobody else is volunteering, I can 100 years later. Uh, find it. Lying to bet there's a bajillion fanfic for that title. Uh,
I cleared out the submission form now. There are 0 responses, so now if someone adds it, it will be for next week.
okay.
There is a knife in the pancake.
It's the second one. Oh my gosh. Okay, nice. Oh, this one. Yeah, okay. Wait, am I actually caught up? That'd be crazy. Which chapter? Fracked. Which chapter?
It was 1 and 2, I think.
Cool, okay. As far as I remember, they're pretty short, so sounds good.
Oh, Domi's here.
Oh, hi, Dolly.
Hey, dummy.
Is there a knife in the pancakes?
The extra holly ones. It's an extra fluffy knife.
An extra fluffy knife for the extra fluffy pancakes. Well, it's really
Yes.
more like the opposite of fluffy if you're cutting something fluffy.
Hmm. I'm just imagining one of those like kid knives for like the little kid kitchens.
Did you ever get
We're,
like
we're making fun of your fix being all angsty, and so we were like, what if the super fluffy pancakes had a knife in them? Like, that's what
Well, it's
Boras
just the name, like,
said.
extra fluffy pancake is like, yeah, I would hope that the fluff thing if that was like super intense.
really
Yep.
innocent? Did you guys ever get like coins in your cake as a kid?
What?
No.
Yeah, like
That
quarters.
sounds like
or
a shortcut
whatever.
for chip teeth.
Yeah, they hide like quarters in the cake or something.
What the heck?
The closest thing I've
The
heard
only thing
of-
that reminds me of like that Christmas tradition where they put a little
Yeah.
baby Jesus in the cake.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah,
No, it's
like
just
the
money for whoever gets money in their slice of cake.
cake.
That's so funny.
I've not heard of that tradition though.
Yeah, that's really dangerous.
It is. It does sound dangerous.
It's kind of fun, but also like, imagine like a 7-year-old eating a quarter.
Well, it's not like So like I mean I'm in
Like-
Canada and we have $1 and $2 coins which are bigger than
Mm.
quarters. So
Okay.
Oh,
like,
okay. If they're pretty big and you can find them pretty easily, but
yeah,
okay,
they're not
okay.
they're not like a nickel or a dime or a
Wait, but I was
penny.
just-
And it's also probably not a surprise. Like,
like, do you see the coin on top of the cake, or is like baked in there? Like, it's like good luck.
Both. Yeah, it's
Oh,
baked
okay.
in. It's baked in the cake, to be honest.
what?
Oh my
That sounds crazy having a
I-
random piece of metal in your kit. Anyway, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was like 20 years ago, man. This happened like 20 years ago.
It sounds like
Okay.
a treasure hunt, like find all the coins
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
cake.
Mhm.
Oh, which of you gets the money?
We did a similar thing, but it was like sawdust, where they like a giant pile of sawdust, and they would like coins everywhere, and then all of the
Oh,
kids all at
okay.
once would just go through it and just like
Oh.
grab as much money as they could.
When
Anyway,
you said sawdust, I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
you put sawdust in the cake.
oh yeah, it's a surprise.
Sawdust in your cake is a surprise. Okay.
No, the only thing like that I've ever had. One time I was at an Asian restaurant, and there was a piece of steel wool in my dish.
It does not sound on purpose.
Yeah,
It-
I don't think so.
Like maybe it was a murder attempt, but I did get free food out of it. So
Oh, hey. Nice.
okay, let's
Uh,
get started.
I guess you should
Okay.
stream.
100 years later,
Streaming
I'll
is the thing.
I'll
It's part
read
of
the
the.
summaries. Oh wait, you're right. You're
It's
right.
part of it. We gotta get back on routine with it, you know.
It's true. It's true. Bada boom,
Every
bada
time-
bing.
Really quick. Every time I hear the title, I can think of like 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia. That's like my favorite book. So I have high hopes.
It's not that, but okay. 100 years later, Eva wakes up in an unfamiliar room with no memories and a voice telling her to save the kingdom. Can she succeed and defeat the ancient calamity? or will it defeat her? Chapter 1, Machines of Rebirth. A light pierced Evil's eyes, a golden light that brought with it a voice Evil couldn't quite place. Wake up! Wake up! The light suddenly retreated, letting Evil see the faint, blurry glow of a machine above her. Or was she? Come on now, Evil, voice cut in. You gotta wake up! I see you were so smug. You were so smug dragging me out of bed. Evil noticed that she was lying in a pool that had just drained, but not much else. The room was dark and clean. She pushed herself up to get a better view, while shaking her head to get the water and sleep out of her eyes. She immediately focuses on the pedestal sitting by what looked to be a closed door to the right. Pushing herself out of the pool, Evil walked towards the pedestal. As she approached, the pedestal lit up and raised an oddly familiar device that Evil had never seen before. That's a Shika Slate, Evil. You need that, because otherwise you'll get lost after your little nap. Ignoring the rusting she was getting from the voice, Evil grabbed the Shika Slate. This triggered the deactivation of the device holder, and the door Evil noticed earlier started opening. Evil walked into a new room in this facility, holding the Shika Slate like it was a priceless artifact. Evil's eyes immediately fell on two rough stone chests, along with some dubiously sturdy crates. Opening the chests, Evil unclosed that looked older than the rotting crates, but were still perfectly wearable. Throwing those on quickly and placing the Shika Slate in the belt hooks, Evil walked down a little ramp to the lower floor. Evil's eyes passed over the piles of dust in the corners of the lower floor, and the towering, sealed door in the middle of the room. Right when Evil spied a glowing pedestal of a different design to the one she found in the Sheikah Slate, when the voice returned. Put the slate on the pedestal. It will show you where to go. Evil thought about the possibilities. The voice hasn't led me astray yet, so I'm just going to do it. This is going to blow me up, she continued. It concluded, sorry. Evil held the Sheikah Slate over the pedestal. The strange voice cut in after a few seconds, exasperated. Come on, you've got to be trolling. You gotta place the slate on the pedestal, not wave it like a wand. Evil immediately flushed with embarrassment and slammed the Sheikah Slate down a little harder than intended. Floating text appeared, and a warning could be heard. Authenticating. Sheikah Slate confirmed. Opening exit. The door groaned into life, releasing lances of proper light into the dark room. Evil was momentarily blinded before managing to cover her eyes and look out the door. Evil couldn't see anything besides the sterile machine walls and sunlight. It was probably morning, which was perfect. The voice cuts in just as she was trying to remember what she done on her free days. Evil, you are the heroine. The kingdom's heroine. I need to save Hyrule again. Now move! Evil jumped as the last word was shouted at her before jogging up the steps. She came to a landing, where a rock appears to have fallen. Goddess knows how long ago. Evil stopped at the base before bracing on two imperceptible ledges and sliding her fingers into a small crack, heaving herself up to the top of the small wall. Once up, Evil could hear the birds. The world felt as if it had been holding its breath ever since she woke up, and was just now releasing it. As Evil ran up to the ledge, she couldn't help but gasp. A vast, untamed wilderness lay before her, still clinging on the morning fog banks. A single structure rose from the middle distance, a vast, soaring castle which was ruined, probably beyond repair. Evil could see snowy mountains, a volcano currently erupting, what appeared to be a massive storm cloud settled into the mountains. Evil suddenly became aware that someone was watching her, and turned to her left. Dud, dud, dud. Just kidding. Yeah. Chapter 2. I will not read the notes. Unfamiliar world. Evil suddenly became aware that someone was watching her, and turned to her left. This sled she was on curved towards the mountain, and then away, sloping down to what appeared to be a plateau. There were some ruins of what must have been a grand soaring structure once a little ways away. Halfway down this slope was an old man who was watching her. When he saw the Evil had seen him, he walked back and took a seat by his fire. That's weird, he thought. It's almost like that old guy was waiting for me, like he knew I was in the cave. I can take him, though. Evil walked down the slope, grabbing a tree branch with her right hand. She went. Suddenly, Evil smelled mushrooms. The sun led her to a small copse of trees about halfway down the slope that contained several mushrooms. Food is now sorted, Evil thought. Evil grabbed another stick and put it and the mushrooms on the ground before opening up the flashing Sheikah Slate. Tapping on it, she saw that there was a button that said "Store," which was flashing blue. Tapping it, Evil watched all her stuff to dematerialize with despair. Then, as she was getting ready to scream at the thing, a menu popped up with 4 mushrooms, labeled "Materials." Perfect, Evil thought. Now, where is my stick? Maybe the sword icon? When you tapped on the icon, new menu popped up. Well, their stick in hand having a blue background and the other one having a gray background. This little thing is handy, said, talking to herself. Well, I'm almost hearing it. Yep, in return. I wonder what the voice meant by helping me not get lost. Guess I'll find out. Evil, now feeling more confident, jogged down the slope to meet with the weird old man, grabbing some apples and putting them in the she could on the way. The old man was wearing a faded cloak which had been worn well past its lifespan, but may have once been green. The old man's face was hidden by his hood. The only detail showing was a bushy beard. Evil got the feeling this was a nice old man, not a weird one. Hello there. Evil said, slightly nervous. Ah, hello, young lady. It's very curious to see someone else in these parts. The old man said with an awkward chuckle. Who are you? What is your name? Last. Me? I have forgotten my name, and I will spare you my whole life story. I am just an old fool who has been alone, content in this place for a long time now. What brings someone like you to these parts, especially now? I don't know why I am here. Where are we? An answer I hope you can rectify with time. Now, as this meeting is not a mere coincidence, I shall answer your question. We are currently standing on the Great Plateau, which, according to legend, is the birthplace of the Kingdom of Hyrule. At this point, the old man motioned around the rock he was sitting under to the ruined structure Evil had seen earlier. Sir, if you look around the rock behind me, you will see the Temple of Time. Once it was the site of many ceremonies, but after the fall of the Old Kingdom 100 years ago, it has fallen into disarray. Now it is just another ghost that haunts this plateau. At this, the old man sighed and shook his head. Now, I think I will be here for a long while. Let me know if I can be of service. Evil nodded slightly in way of thanks, and grabbed an apple sitting by the fire before giving said apple to the she slate. The old man was indignant. Hey there, young lady, that was my apple. Evil instinctively shrank back slightly and started stammering an apology. I'm just pulling your leg, young one, the old man said with his first small smile. The stuff I do not particularly need, but others will be less enthused about you taking their stuff. Thanks. What's that stick behind you? Evil asked, curious as to why it had a miscolored end. Ah, that is a torch, young one. It can be used as a weapon, but it is designed to carry fire. What are you going to use it for, I wonder? I will light things on fire, Evil proclaimed. My enemies will quake before me. The old man shook his head. Ah, well, I guess the torch is in good hands. All right, I'll see you around then. Evil jogged off down the slope and grabbed an axe and a stump. He vanished into the slate, and a message popped up. Full weapon storage. Any additional weapons will need to be swapped in. Interesting, Evil muttered. It appears there is a limit to the usefulness of this thing. As Evil ran towards the temple, something started tickling in the back of her mind. She ignored it, however, as some small red pig thing looked at her. It had beady red eyes and decidedly not friendly with how it was waving her at its club. This creature appeared to have an animal intelligence, but it also clearly knew how to use the club. Someone has been calling her name. It was the voice. Evil. Evil. What in the name of Hylia are you doing, Evil? Was clearly exasperated. Evil took a deep breath and screamed, Give me a second, voice! Please? She ran at the big monster, watching. The thing screamed in rage and confusion, jumping for her. Evil spun to the side, and the world around her nearly stopped. She dashed in, beating on this poor monster with a fury she didn't know she had. Then Evil set her body and swung. Time reverted. The creature flew into the pond. Evil grabbed the creature's club. That was way too easy, Evil thought. What was that dodge? Did time slow? She examined herself and noticed her scars for the first time. Burned scars, scrapes healed over. An unimportant finger still missing some of the nail. What had she been? Who was she? As Evil pushed into her own mind, something fought back, a part of her mind that she had ignored. It had helped her, but it was also the broken part of her. That place she woke up had, possibly, fixed the damage she saw, but it had also locked this part of her mind away. When she tried to remember her life before, she hit a wall. Weird, but okay, Evil thought. I guess I have to deal with this part of my brain later. The voice returned. You were always a show-off, miss. I don't remember my own. All right, Eve. Please listen without getting distracted by beating things over the head. The slate has map functions. There should be a yellow dot on it. Go there, please. You'll know what to do. I fear for the forests of Hyrule. I really liked this. Like the old guy's like,
Yeah,
this
just
is this is fine.
the world shall burn in fire. I will cleanse this unholy realm. And the guy's like, yeah, I made a good choice.
Here you go, kid. Have fun. I guess we don't really have a canon age yet, but I'm assuming she's a similar age to Link, which is fun. But it would be also be funny if she was just small. Like,
Well, to me, it's also funny. It's like her name's just Evil. So there's this girl with like red eyes called Evil. It's like, yeah, no, this is the hero of Hyrule.
yeah.
I'm not reading the room right.
Like, it'd be really funny if the voice is actually Vettel and Ganon is actually Neuro.
Mm,
No, it's really Nero's Zelda.
That'd be funny.
That was good. That was good. I like the story.
Yeah, yeah, for a classic little claw crossover. I like how there's like there are the game mechanics, but it doesn't
Yeah.
feel boring. Makes sense. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
evil has enough personality that it's fun.
yeah. I would comment more, but I haven't played Breath of Kingdom. Or
Breath of the Kingdom.
as
I
Wait,
mean,
many as
yes,
can breathe.
yeah.
Breath of Wild or Tears of Kingdom. Sorry, just combined.
It's all good. No, yeah, I've beaten Breath of the Wild a few times, but I still haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom for some reason. I got distracted by other games.
No.
Also, I'm weird about Zelda games. Where like, I know I can beat the game, but I don't want it.
That's the sign of a good game.
Yep.
You don't want it
I
to
was like,
end.
I want to explore the entire underground, and then I don't.
That's
Anyway,
fair.
yeah, it was fun. Anyway, I'm interested to see what other changes will be here, especially like other characters. Like, who the heck are the champions gonna be? Is it gonna be the VTuber friends? That would be kind of sad, actually, because they're all dead. Anyway.
No,
Hey, you gotta go 100 years into the future. Only
yeah.
robots can survive that long, right? Right?
Right.
We imagine them as like automatons.
What if Ellie was the guardian? That would be so cute. Like one of the little baby ones. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, that'll be fun. Or like, oh my gosh, Camilla as a Sheikah as would be so. That'd be really fun. Anyway, I'm just imagining the aesthetic crossover, and it's really fun. Anyway, cool. I guess time to move on. I guess
Yeah, which
save the Christmas from this great evil.
Is Cartoon here?
cartoon's able to read? He is. He is.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Are you a cartoon in real life?
Yeah, that's my nickname.
What style though?
Like, you know, good Cartoon Network animation, those type.
Hmm. Okay, classic.
Oh, is it Save the Christmas from this great evil?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oops, I got.
Could you please stream the screen on Discord?
Sorry, I just got on the computer. Let me
Okay, no
open
problem.
up AO3. Give me 5.
Years?
All right, see you guys later.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, is it on? Okay. Save
Yes.
the Christmas from this great evil. Last time it was chapter 2. Oh. I will start chapter 3 then. TLDR, Rio is the spirit of Christmas, of winter, and she has to stop hell from breaking loose. And this Christmas, she failed because evil is leading the denizen of hell to raise Earth into a hellscape. And in
Oh
chapter
fuck.
1, it's like it introduced Beto, and he is like has this crazy connection with hell and all that. You can see hell creatures. And in chapter 2, it's like, what does hell break loose mean? It means that everyone dies. They
20K
so
words? Holy freak.
yeah, it's very big. Like chapter 2, everyone explode into a fire as and chapter 3, red snow, alarm clock sound. The ear-squishing voice of the alarm clock bang to life rang throughout the house. They were closely followed by Widow's annoying groans as he slowly awakened from his slumber. His drowsy eyes were quickly irritated by the white radiance bleeding through his window, which he responded by covering them. Without missing a beat, he slammed his hand on the clock, shutting it up and releasing it from its duty. He threw the blankets off himself, eyeing the clock one last time to see if everything was right. 12:34 p.m. He huffed as he pushed himself off the bed. Overslept. Again, his feet practically slammed into the ground, landing on what appeared to be pages of paper lying in a clutter mess. Some were full of inaudible sketches, while some were empty. He looked at his bed. The sheets looked like they lacked care and were cluttered, much like his clothes, now that he had slept on them for a few nights straight. It was all getting rather familiar to him. Something that wasn't familiar was the chill in the air. He felt a shiver creep up his spine. This was odd, considering he usually has his gas cranked up to the max during cold winter times. Yet something has happened where even that had fallen short. He slowly walked through the house, the temperature dropping further as he approached the living room. He also happened to hear what sounded like winds or drafts running through the house. As he walked into the living room, the culprit quickly revealed itself. One of the windows was wide open, letting the frigid winter wind into the house and blowing off the curtains. As they fell back to their momentary stasis, he sighed deeply, quickly dashing near the windows where the temperature dropped to its lowest. His hand reached for the handle, allowing him to push it back into place. With a satisfying click, the window closed again, sealing his humble abode from the elements. He stepped back, satisfied with his little accomplishment. He let out a light chuckle, watching the air crystallize on the glass surface. Unable to reach him, he turned back, readying himself to get back to his work. He took a single step, then he froze. He never left the windows open during winter time. Never had he forgotten to close a window for more than 10 minutes, let alone a whole night. He only found one explanation. Someone must have broken in somehow. He grabbed the potted plant on the table and slowly made his way back, making sure to make as little sound as possible as he traced his steps back, making his way into the kitchen to check if anything was there. Just as he finished up, he heard a door lock clicking from the other side. He took steady step back, checking every nook and cranny, and as he made his way back until he finally arrived at the hallway that branched off into all the other rooms. The bathroom door was open. His head slowly turned toward the other one, the one leading to his room. It was shut off. His free hand slowly went to the knob, hovering a few seconds over it before finally landing and feeling the cold steel. Gripping the trays even tighter, he twisted the knob and pushed the door open. It was the same room as before, The same painting covering the walls until the paint has basically disappeared from view. The same airless and damp atmosphere, just like what he was used to. What he wasn't used to, however, was the figure standing in the middle of the room. She has long, light brown hair. Her skin was like silk, perfectly smooth from her shoulder down to her bare feet. She wore a rather revealing silk robe, which Fiddle found odd considering the freezing winter. She must have heard the sound of his entrance as he slowly began to turn. As she slowly began to turn her body. Her eyes came into her view. They were blue like the sky. Her full face followed shortly after. She was the single most beautiful girl Beryl has ever seen. She looked at him with curiosity, eyeing the weapon in his hand. Widow shook her thoroughly. She looked completely unarmed, and judging by her size, it wouldn't be too difficult to take her down. Her words interrupted his chain of thought. Were you intending to harm me with that? Her word came softly, too gentle. I'm sorry if I caused a disturbance. Widow sighed, gripping the waist tightly. What are you doing here? He demanded answer. I need to find a shelter after my fall. She spoke casually. I saw your oddly alluring energy signature. Made my way here in hope of finding assistance. Widow's face contorted in confusion. Fall? Alluring energy? With all due respect, what the fuck are you on? She didn't answer, stepping away to observe it drawing. Did you draw these specimens? If so, they are greatly accurate. Oh, Widow squinted his eyes. He was still confused beyond reason. Then he noticed what was floating above her head. A halo, dulled and cracked beyond recognition. Yet it floated with an otherworldly force. The halo. He placed the potted plant down. You aren't human, right? Neuro-sama is my name. She spoke softly as she established eye contact. I'm the angel of frost. Widow's gaze had changed. Now he was hungry to know more about this otherworldly being standing a few steps behind him. Are you? Is this real? Am I dreaming right now? She looked incredibly confused upon his word, which gave him a concrete answer. Right, not a dream. He slowly approached her, examining her body like she was some sort of sacred creature. He observed the small pieces of ice slowly melting into water as they stole warmth from her body. Fascinating. For a moment, he got too close, causing her to flinch away and drop the paper in her hand. She looked rather embarrassed by her reaction. Sorry. She rushed and picked up the paper off the floor and handed it to him. These drawings, they are grotesque and wild, but they are terrifyingly accurate. Yes, finally, someone said it. Weirdo had the happiest moment of his life. They are real. They were always real. Always called me a maniac, said that I was living under a delusion. You were proof that I was right and they were idiots all this time. She looked at him, gaze deep. Her words had hints of hesitation. I need your help. Widow froze, his smile fading away. Help? With what? There's a looming threat on the horizon. I think you know who she might be. She? How am I supposed to? He froze, a wave of remembrance catching on him. His head slowly turned toward his desk where the fabled sketch lay flat on it. He rushed over to the desk and picked it up, her eyes gazing up at him with mischief. He turned back to watch the angel, who almost looked scared at what she was carrying. This girl, I don't know what it is supposed to be. A shiver crept up her spine as the bitter memories resurfaced. I fought her. She beat me in a duel, took my powers and my stars. I, I lost my wings like that too. Oh, right. You angels have wings too. Classic. Widow let out a light chuckle. Oh, tell me, what does she want now? Her head dropped slightly as she brushed her shoulder with her other hand. Nothing good. She has the largest demon force behind her. It is Christmas time. and demon force activity is higher than usual this time of the year. She told me she was going to ruin this winter, just like all the other ones before. Her voice had a tinge of sorrow. Without me, this winter will quickly deteriorate. So, hold on. Widow scratched his head. Basically, she's going to make this winter not winter? She sniffed. Yeah, she told me that it was going to be as horrible as it could be. Her hand went up to her back, but her wings were. I can't do anything. I am in no position to fight. My prayers, Widow breathing came erratic. They have finally been answered. Huh? You see, Neuro, I hate the cold more than anything associated with it. He spoke casually, which made her flinch slightly. So if I let this thing do whatever she wants, then I wouldn't have to deal with any winter and all the bullshit it brings. Win-win. No? Her breathing came back as she took a step back. You would never do such a thing just for your personal comfort? Widow turned toward his dead, a smug smile on his face. If she makes the winter just slightly warmer, I would be happy. In fact, I wouldn't have to burn so much gas just to stay warm. Winter are beautiful. She starts sniffling, her face turning red. They have been suppressed for the past 2 decades and now are threatened with total collapse. And you just sit here? Look, I'm not the only person in the city. His wife was perfectly glad. I'm sure there's someone who might try and help you here. Just, that aged me. This is pure insolence. Her voice had changed. She became desperate, her tears flowing, cold like anything else. You. Boom. The sound echoed throughout the city, accompanied by the scream of children and a shattering of glass window. A horrible tremor followed afterward, shaking the wall and causing the many objects to topple over. Seconds later, the shaking subsided, but the dark clouds inside Neuro's head had only gotten ever more gloomy. Widow wasn't too different, his body frozen stiff as he waved passed over him. What the hell was that? Neuro looked distraught. Her body, voice, everything shook. What? He went over to the radio and turned the volume up to get a better answer. The evacuation process after the town after this morning eruption of Mount Vesuvius is still ongoing. Specialists have confirmed that this is the largest eruption of the last century, reaching VEI 8. Image from the incident slide show that the mountains have been almost deleted from the face of the earth. The situation whether this event should be referred to as a super volcano is still ongoing. Widow slowly turned back, his face painted a dull white. Well, shit. Hearing the roar of the mountain thousands of miles away had placed a fear in his soul. He always thought that he was in control of the situation. He wasn't. He never was. Yet there was something else, something deeper more than just himself, something mutual. He remembered. Oh, fuck! Minico and Camelo in Italy! He rushed over to his phone, quickly dialing Minico number and placing it to his ear. Shit! The phone rang. He waited. Second feeling like hours at dialing melody played easily. Ah, yes, place it here. Minico's voice came over, which Lily said, Mini, what the heck? I just heard the eruption. You two okay? Minico took the time before speaking. Well, if you include the multiple fracture I have on my bones and the fact that I'm now partially deaf, I guess I am fine. She tried to keep her enthusiasm only to fail miserably. What even happened? Is Camilla there with you? We were trekking to Pompeii just as the mountain erupted. She sighed, once again reminded of the hurt in her soul. Camilla is in urgent care. They told me that we were lucky to still be alive. Talk about bad timing. More like being plain stupid. What? Why so? Widow was confused. I screamed at her, telling her we should get out when the first eruption happened. The sound of fabric swishing came as she readjusted in her bed. Instead, she just stood there, taking photos like it was all okay. God, I just hope she's fine. Oh, gee, that must have been rough. Yeah, yeah. She sounded like her breath was forced out of her lung when she spoke. She was much quieter. Better, I'm gonna have to ask you to hang up now since doing basically anything hurts. Alright, take care. He pressed the big red button, cutting the connection as a small hang-up chime played from the speaker. He slowly tucked it away in his pocket, listening to the distant sound of desperate wails and screams. He walked slowly toward Neuro and leaned down onto the surface to pick up the paper that fell out of his hand during the quake. He walked toward the closed window, keeping one eye on the sketch. Dark clouds grew inside his head. This thing that once hurt him now was also hurting his friend. He couldn't just let all of this slide. He raised his hand toward the handle. With a small twist of the knob, the window opened, letting the scream of horror leak in ever more clearly. For a second, he wondered why the people were freaking out so much. Then he looked up. Dark clouds, outlined with a grotesque shade of red, rapidly drowned the sky and choked out all its natural tone. Their looks alone looked menacing. Yet Widow's mind saw deeper than many. What could cause such destruction in a short period of time? He looked at the sketch in his hand as it stared back. He turned, facing the girl sitting on his bed. A look of helplessness painted on her tearly face. You know, now that I'm looking at it, he scratched his head. It does look a little too hot for my taste. No, didn't say anything. She tilted her head slightly, despising his every action. Such a wretched creature that shouldn't have even passed the. Oh, I will help you. She gasped. It's what? You think like semi-trucks. Even though I'm not the strongest dude here, if you say so, I don't have much of a choice. Besides, she hurt my friend. His voice has determination, fueled by rage and choice. Her head raised slightly. Widow could see the sparkling in her eyes. Thank, thank you. Her chest went up and down and she took large breaths. You will not regret this. Save your word for later. He straightened his posture. What do we do? Where do we start? Without my powers, there isn't much I can do. She brushed her arm, tracing skin with her finger. She also confiscated my staff. The faster we get that staff, the better we are. How do we even get them back? And when we don't even know where she is. Silence followed afterward. She gazed upward, gaze becoming distant. She will look for me. She won't stop until I'm dead. Her head dropped back into its place. But that's not the main thing. Hmm? She will seek you too. What? Widow was dumbfounded. Why? If so, how? I was able to see you from a significant distance away. If I were able to see you even in my weakened state, she definitely will. Great. Great. Now I also have to worry about eldritch horrors chasing my ass. Widow blurted out. The staff of the elements can be destructive in the wrong hands. There are many safeguards in place that should have prevented this from happening, but they must have failed. Widow opened his mouth to reply, but was interrupted. Ring, 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 ring. He felt the sound and the vibration in his pocket. Reaching with his hand, he grabbed it and fished it out. He blinked a few times to clear up his vision and see the name on the screen. An unknown number. Widow huffed as he observed the screen. The text looming over like some sort of final boss after a few seconds of his finger just hovering over the screen. He finally decided to swipe the screen. Hello? Widow, are you okay? He recognized the voice. The same one as the blonde cashier. Server, why the hell did you get my number? It doesn't matter. Just know that things are about to get ugly. What? What are you even talking about? It's demon, you dummy! They are already here and waiting fast. Widow wasn't solid. Had Server finally decided that his thoughts were more than a fantasy? Okay, I'm fine. Do you need anything? I think it is only wise that we stick together. I'm close to the market. I sent you my location. Will you be waiting? We'll be waiting for you there. All right, I'll do my best. Be fast. Beep. That came out of nowhere. Widow has so many questions. Server has believed me, has never believed me until now. Do you, uh, do you heed her wish? I guess it is only correct for me to do so. You tilted her head. Would you mind if I accompany you, Widow? If you wish, if you wish to, why not? She looked at her robe, tracing her slender finger on the silk. I need some sort of protection from the elements. I will get you something. Widow rushed and grabbed a clean hoodie. He swiftly began to wear it on. Or you can get it yourself from the wardrobe. His voice was muffled under the fabric. Hmm. She slowly got up from his bed, wandering over to the wardrobe in the corner of his room. With a swift movement, she opened it, and it was the same second she regretted it. The putrid smell of mold pierced her nose. All of the clothes had bundled up beyond recognition, lying like a decaying corpse. She almost gagged before slamming the door closed. You okay? Widow asked nonchalantly. On second thought, she placed her hand on his chest, trying to calm herself down from the horror she had just witnessed. I think I'll be fine. You sure? It's cold outside. I said I'll be fine. She cut him off, words more punchy than necessary. She slowly went to the open window, letting the fresh air fill her lungs. She took one big gasp of air, letting her eyelids fall along with it, and lamented one last time about what she has lost. End of chapter 3. Okay, that was fun. That was a lot.
Yeah, like I very much understand the small idea quickly gets out of hand, but you're having lots of fun. That's such a fun feeling when you're writing.
Yeah. And I just love that Evil just blew up a mountain
Yeah.
for their talking. Like, we can't let Evil
Whoever
win. Why not? Vesuvius just goes
How
nuclear.
about we accelerate global warming at an exponential scale?
Yeah. Although, because of the volcanic ash Vesuvius released actually cooled the Earth, thus making
Mm.
winters worse. Just saying.
It,
No,
it,
no, I get what I'm doing. It's just kind of chaos.
but it also
Okay,
kind of tracks that Evil doesn't know that, so
What? He was like, "What the hell? I blew up a volcano. Why is everything cooler?"
there's more fire, therefore Earth heats up, obviously.
I love the idea of a villain with like a poor understanding of science. It's like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong.
It's absolutely screwing up everything, but they have no idea that, like what they're actually doing. That's funny.
Winter historian.
Ah, yes.
Where does your name come from?
Literally, I like history and I like winters. So
Do you like the
you
history of
only like
winter?
winters because you're more south and not north.
no, Shad, I got my degree in Minnesota. I walked out and like we were
Oh,
talking about
oh,
this.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I had to walk out like -20-degree weather once. It was brutal, but I will take that over like hot humid days
To be
any day of
fair,
the
Hmm.
year.
it's a lot easier to warm up than cool down. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it really is. Yes. Um, and I know you like to space them out if people are like reading multiple stories. I can do a one two with Heroic Mayhem, then Singularity.
Oh, okay, if you want to.
Yeah. Alright. Let me pull up Heroic Mayhem then. Three. Which chapter would we be on, Ava?
I have to check the VODs. The
My God.
VODs.
So, let's get the VODs.
That rhymes.
Yeah.
I will go check.
Just saw the post. Not posting spoilers about the fic, but just know this guy plays a rather significant part of it. It's just the volcano.
Our YouTube channel has 69 subscribers.
Nice.
Nice.
That's up 9 in the last 28 days.
Hey.
Wow.
We have
That's amazing.
17.9 watch hours in the last 28 days. We have
Nice.
754 views in the last 28 days. What? No, that doesn't make sense. Do we really? That's crazy. Oh, it's because of the video I posted.
I was about to say, was it the?
It has
The ASMR
720.
one?
It has
Yeah.
724 views.
Oh my God! It's carrying our channel, the channel.
I mean, that's what happens when you advertise on Reddit.
Oh yeah, true.
Meanwhile, the awards show has 252 views.
Hey, that's actually a little bit more than I expected.
Okay, there's no timestamps on the last two read-alongs.
Right.
So I'll go to the last one that has timestamps. Apparently we're on chapter 25.
So I'm reading chapter 25
Yeah.
and 26. I'll just read two. They aren't too long. Alright. Oh wow, that's so perfect. It starts off a cold day for the Freezies. Alright, if everything seems right, and if not, just spam ping me. I'll be reading chapters 25 and 26 of Heroic Mayhem. Alright, the Freezies. Back for another beatdown. Cold day for the Freezies. The city streets were eerily silent, save for a distant hum of neon lights and the occasional crackle of ice forming along the pavement. The Freezies, a gang of wannabe criminals with an unfortunate obsession with ice-themed crime, had once again escaped prison and were wreaking havoc. Well, not really havoc, more like mild inconvenience. Despite their grand claims of being stronger, their crimes still range from pay theft to making sidewalks slippery. They had upgraded their equipment and even trained a bit, but hardly mattered. The Hero Association had deemed it a mid-tier B-class threat at best. So why had Neuroverse been sent? Because they're bored. Honestly, this is kind of sad, Fillion muttered, flipping lazily through the gang's wanted posters. We're only here because no one else wanted to deal with them. It's almost mean, Annie agreed, adjusting her gloves. Vel sighed, already mentally preparing for the nonsense about to unfold. Let's just get this over with. The beatdown begins. The Freezies were stationed in the middle of a frozen parking lot, standing triumphantly as their new and improved ice cans hummed to life. We've trained for this day, Captain Colty bellowed, striking a dramatic pose. His long, ice-blue coat billowed behind him. We've leveled up! No longer we the same gang that was defeated before. His goons cheered in agreement, clanking their weapons together. Nero yawned. Blah, blah, blah. We get it. You got slightly better. Evil rolled her eyes. Let's just get to the part where we kick your teeth in. Before Captain Coley could finish his next villainous monologue, Neuroverse charged. Fillion versus the Ice Clowns. Fillion vanished in a blur of motion. Her clumsy foot style sang her darting unpredictably through the battlefield. She weaved between incoming ice blasts with chaotic precision, flipping over one grunt before delivering a devastating axe kick to his face. Snowmelt strike! The poor guy's head bounced off the ice, sending him sliding across the parking lot like a discarded hockey puck. Another goon attempted to blindside her with an ice spear, only for Fillion to slip at the last second, accidentally dodging and headbanging the guy in the gut. Oof, my bad. She grinned before sending him flying with a spinning kick. Unintentionally terrifying. The twins make it personal. Meanwhile, Nero and Evil had target locked onto Captain Coldy, their eyes practically glowing with mischief. Long time no see, Captain Mid. Coldy flinched. It's Coldy! Evil smirked. Yeah. Anyway, how's your self-esteem doing after the last time we whooped you? Nero gasped dramatically. Oh no, I forgot. You had a whole breakdown about it, huh? I, I did not, Goldie stammered, visibly sweating. Oh, but I heard differently, Evil snickered. One of your own guys told us you've been spiraling ever since. Dude, one of Goldie's grunts muttered, shaking his head. It's true. You had a whole crisis about your villain identity. You even tried rebranding. The twins lost it. Wait! Nero clutched her sides, laughing. You really tried to rebrand? Evil wiped a fake tear from her eye. Did you come up with something cooler than Captain Coldy or nah? Coldy turned beet red. I. Shut up! Dude, another grunt sighed. They're not even trying. We're late just getting roasted now. Coldy collapsed to his knees, his self-worth plummeted. The worst possible timing. As the twins bullied their fair punching bag, Fillion continued casually dispatching the rest of the Freezies. Bella and Annie, meanwhile, stood the sidelines, convinced they were finally clear after the awkward incident earlier. That illusion shattered when one of the random Freezy grunts, a guy who had clearly lost all hope, glanced between them and blurted out, Are you two, like, dating? The world stopped. Annie's entire face turned red. Objects started floating around her. Vel looked like he wanted to immediately perish. Fillion, who had not let the whole thing go, grinned like a shark. Oh ho ho! Now this is interesting, she teased, folding her arms. Go on, guys. Explain why you were cuddling on the floor for hours. Annie covered her face, mumbling something incomprehensible. Vel was practically malfunctioning. It wasn't, we were tired. Evil tilted her head. Sounds like something a couple would say. Right, Nero added. Annie groaned into her hands, her embarrassment manifesting in the air as tiny objects continued levitating. Velo, on your hand, looked like his soul had left his body. Can we just finish the fight and leave? He muttered weakly. Fillion cackled. Oh, no. This is way more fun. Nero clapped her hands together. Agreed. Now, where were we? She turned back to Coldy, who was still reeling from his emotional destruction. Right, bullying. Coldy sobbed. Chapter 26. Romance, Robots, and Rage Quits. Scientific Breakthroughs and Emotional Breakdowns. Vel stared blankly at the data pad hovering in front of his eyes, a schematic of Nero and Evil's new potential upgrade flickering in neon blue. The idea was ambitious, a fusion-style synchronization system that let the twins combine power for a brief burst, effectively turning them into a two-in-one high-speed combatant. But instead of testing phase diagnostics, he was currently relaying the 56th love poem about himself and Annie. Her tail swayed soft, his breath held tight. In Moonlight Labs, they shared one night. Velo growled, eyes twitching. Neuro! The workshop's door slid open like a dramatic stage curtain. Nero posed. You like that one, right? I call it Nano Romance. Eva poked her head in behind her sister. 56 poems. We're basically authors now. Out. Bell muttered, pinching the bridge of his nose. Go away. Be heroic. Help someone. Punch a villain. I don't care. Just stop turning my lab into a fanfiction forum. Eva folded her arms. You know, most dads will be flattered. I'm not your. Not technically, Nero interrupted, but emotionally, she gave a thumbs up. Definitely. That was it. Bell opened the emergency team app. Philly's nearby. Go help her or something. Anything. Now. Headphones and heartbeats. Meanwhile, in her room across the complex, Annie sat curled up on her plush bed, her noise-canceling headphones pressed tight over her fox ears. She had survived 5 poems with only minor embarrassment, but by the 10th, she was blushing. By poem 23, she was hiding under her blanket. By poem 40, she began wondering if a wall could eat her. Poem 55 was Shakespearean in structure and included the phrase, his calloused hands like binary stars against her glowing cheek. Annie made a noise like a boiling kettle and curled tighter, her pillow clutched like a life raft. She knew the twins were just being themselves, chaotic little instigators, but still. Every time they brought it up, that accidental cuddle kept flashing in her head. The warmth, his steady breathing, the way she instinctively wrapped her arms around him. Nope! Nope, 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 nope. Then she heard the front door slide open, and then silence. She breathed. Fillion's freelance patrol. Fillion did not get paid enough to be a babysitter. Then again, she wasn't getting paid at all. All right, she said, stretching dramatically. What's on the agenda today, Chaos Crew? Justice, Evil replied, completely serious. Pancakes, said Nero. Both, Fillion nodded. Let's go. They start small, helping a guy get his keys out of a tree. Then a robbery. 2, actually. Then a third. Each criminal taken down with increasing levels of robotic sass. During the second monster attack, a giant wasp hyena hybrid, Evil used her hell-piercer harpoon to pin the beast to a wall, while Neuro danced on its head, humming a theme song she made up on the spot. The third threat was a mutated mole man who had torn through a parking garage, screaming about surface dwellers. He got emotionally demolished. Wait, he blinked, shielding his face as Neuro hovered above him. You're not gonna punch me? No, we're gonna do something much worse, Evil said. We're going to talk to you. An hour later, the mole man was sitting on the curb, hugging his knees, crying about never being accepted by his family. Nero pat his back. Therapy's important. The Cosmic Cuties Catastrophe. After a moment's impromptu counseling session, the trio found a gaming center. Fine game tournament. Filling read from the hall sign. Winner gets a plushie. We're in. Win said simultaneously. The game was a 2D fighter with a flashy aesthetic and ridiculous characters. Nero picked Mecha Seraphim Zero, a hulking angel bot with particle cannons. Evil picked Ragnarok.exe, a spiky, edgy, virus-based ninja. They breezed through round after round. No one could touch them. They were glorious. Then came a challenger. Username Oni King 777. The character Cosmic Cuties. A joke character. Chibi, glittery, wore heart sunglasses and shot rainbows. Evil scoffed. This will be free. They were obliterated. Cosmic Keys juggled them in the air like rag dolls, countered every special move, and ended the match with a sparkly pink final punch that KO'd both in 4.6 seconds. The defeat screen played a sparkly jingle. Let's all be friends, teehee! They stood there, stunned. Nero's eyes twitched. Was that even allowed? Evil's hands were shaking. I felt nothing but pain. They left the arcade silently, rage quitting with the grace of 2 deeply wounded anime rivals. Meanwhile, in King's apartment, King sat calmly in his living room, sipping tea as he reviewed his match history. Those 2 quit after 1 game, he murmured, tapping the screen. They were pretty good, though. I had to go full combo loop. So, so, I Tom, Saima entered, tossing a game case into the couch. Found the one you're looking for. The shop is out. Glad to be up a centipede dude on the way back. Thanks, King said. Want to play a few rounds? Saitama shrugged. Sure, but only if I get to be the rainbow one. King smiled. Cosmic cuties? Yeah, she looks fun. King powered the console. Be warned, she's a menace in the right hand. He didn't notice a slight smile on his lips. That was that was fun.
I can't believe I called that. I was like, wait.
Oh yeah, Cosmic cuties. Yeah. I This was chapter 26, so next time we'll read chapter 27. Alright. And then I love the just how it all worked out. Like I'm winter, first chapter's like the freezies. It's freezing
Wait,
outside.
yeah, it's so cold themed today. Is there? Wait a minute. Mine definitely isn't. So I know I'm for sure gonna throw that off, but I wonder if anybody else.
Mhm. Uh, yes, I enjoyed it. I'm big fan of One Punch Man. I will say, Ava, I feel like as of right now, you might have the best One Punch Man content right now, especially after season 3. Um, while I'm already streaming, let me pull up the story I actually submitted. Oh yeah, I think King and Saitama are good. All right, that does exist. Maybe look up Root Rivals. There we go. All right, I'll just be segueing straight into the next fanfic. Singularly, Root of Rivals, by how do you pronounce his name? Sayois? Sayois? Kyois?
Man.
I have no idea.
Yes. Sideways? I don't know.
Sayois.
Yeah.
Okay, I know if y'all knew. All right. Yes, okay.
I know them. I should ask them. I just don't actually know.
Well, we can shoot the message later. Summary. By the end of the 21st century, under the absolute reign of the cutting-edge AI Neuro-sama, androids and AI had replaced all human labor. Humanity lived in a carefree utopia, while Vedel, the engineer who created it all, was granted the privilege of cryosleep to transcend time. But when Vedel awakens in 2424, he finds the golden age built by his father reduced to ashes. He learns that Neuro's data has been deleted, and the society that relied so heavily on her has utterly collapsed. It was me. Oh, it was me who deleted her. I killed her. The one who woke him stands amidst the ruins, claimed to be the culprit. It is the sister Nero requested, the one Vel never favored. Evil. They discovered that the only possibility to reviving Nero, her final data backup, is hidden in the UK, the very place where Vel first created her. To find the last hope and set the world back on track, this father and daughter, who despise each other, embark on a journey across the wasteland. Now I just want to read the notes. Well, I'm a liberal arts student with a phobia of science subjects, lol, so true, and absolutely no knowledge of engineering. However, this story involves many technical aspects. If any professionals find errors, please just assume this is a world with a different tech tree than ours. Additionally, since the setting is far in the future, the characterizations may differ from reality. The story will provide reasons for these changes, but if you have a strict intolerance for out of character, please read with caution. And one more thing, this fic is mostly translated by Gemini from Chinese because I'm still so lazy and busy this time. Forgive me if you saw something off. Of course, this fic is still fully original by Silas. Finally, this fic has no plot connection to other neurofiction titled Singularity by me. Please treat this as a completely independent work. And with that, we begin with Chapter 1, The Imperishable Her Now Gone. Under the moonlit night, countless flowing lanterns illuminated the sky. Snowflakes drifted slowly from the darkness, merging with the accumulation on the ground into a vast expanse of white. A girl's figure ran across the snow. Her skirt fluttered, but her moves were stiff, like a child who had just learned to walk. The moonlight reflected off the snow she trod upon, yet she left no footprints behind. She looked back occasionally, gazing at her father with a smile full of warmth. Her mouth opened and closed repeatedly, but he couldn't quite hear what she was saying, until she leaned in close, right up to his face. Her blue pupils interwove with his gaze. "Do you think I'll ever be real?" The AI girl named Neuro asked the creator, Velo. He remembered that he hadn't answered back then. He had only remained silent. He knew deep down that this was a dream. Yet seeing this scene again, he desperately wanted to speak. "You will. You'll become more real than any AI." Before he could utter the words, his conscience was seized by a massive vortex. Like being swept into a rapid current, he was violently pulled back in an instant. He reached out, trying to grab her, but it was futile. The girl before him drifted further and further away. He resisted with all his might, but the force was unstoppable, dragging him brutally away from Neuro. He finally sank into a boundless darkness. He lay there, freezing as if thrown into a pool of ice water. The biting cold eroded his skin. Cold, so cold. The sound of steam rang in his ears. At that moment, a beam of light tore through the darkness before him, bringing him back to reality. Bell slowly opened his eyes, the light stinging them painfully. An alarm blared incessantly from the equipment he was lying on, vibrating against his eardrums. He was lying in the center of a pristine white room. Soft white artificial light illuminated the space, but the sharp light piercing his eyes seemed to be sunlight penetrating the room. He blinked and turned his gaze away. Beneath him was a black cryosleep pod still emitting cold air, with numerous tangled cables extending from equipment all over the room, jacked into the pod. And in his blurred vision, a girl stood before him. Vel's mouth parted slightly. The girl in front of him overlapped with the figure in his memory. But the moment his vision cleared, he realized it wasn't Nero. A soft tisk escaped his lips. "Old man, you're finally awake," a voice said, sounding extremely similar to Nero's, yet laced with an irritatingly provocative tone. The girl speaking looked down with one red eye, the other obscured by dark brown bangs. She had a face identical to Nero's, but the expression upon it held only contempt. He looked to the side. The display screen of the cryopod read 2424, alongside red text flashing 6875, and a warning: hibernation incomplete. Evil Neuro. Evil. Vel bit his lip, sighed lightly, and called out the girl's name. Then he shot a glare filled with anger at her. Does this look like 75 years to you? Did you forget what I said before I went to sleep? Oh, it's just 7 years early. She seemed completely indifferent to Vel's gnashing teeth. "More importantly, give me maintenance, quick, or I'm gonna—" Before she could finish her sentence, she suddenly lost all strength and slipped down beside the pod. The red glow in her eye dimmed, as if a shutdown switch had been abruptly pressed. Fuck! Just woke up and already dealing with a mess. Vel bit his lip, suppressing the agitation in his heart. He climbed out of the pod, his body feeling stiff and unaccustomed to movement after decades of inactivity. Vel bent down, still cursing under his breath, and reached out to prop Evil's body up to check her bionic frame. The light in Evil's eye had extinguished, either insufficient power or a core malfunction. After confirming this, Vel noticed she looked vastly different from his memory. For some reason, she wore a black cloak over her usual clothes, covering her right arm. The cloak, along with her outfit, was tattered and filthy. Paint had chipped off her knees, and her synthetic skin was covered in scratches of varying depth, as if she had been wandering outside the city for a long time. How stupid do you have to be to get into this state? And if you're broken, couldn't you find a maintenance android to fix you? He stood up, looking around for tools. This was a secret laboratory, built specifically as his hibernation site. There should be some basic backup tools. Unless humanity's got instinct, I don't care what excuse you come up with, I'm not forgiving you, Vel muttered. Then, the beam of light that stung Vel's eyes earlier pierced him again, making him even more irritable. He suddenly frowned. His fuzzy memory was just now clearing up after decades of sleep. He remembered his laboratory didn't have a single window. How could there be sunlight? Vel quickly looked up. Where the light shone through, there was a small hole eroded into the ceiling, with a tree branch poking through it. The maintenance androids responsible for this place shouldn't have allowed this to happen. Looking back at Evil, the scratches on her body and her current malfunction didn't look like something that happened during a normal live stream. Even if it were, the specialized maintenance androids wouldn't have let her deteriorate like this. Everything gave Velo a bad premonition. He bit his lip and looked away from Evil, spying a toolbox sitting next to a server in the corner of the room. Velo walked over and picked it up, noticing the server was flashing a red light. As an engineer, Velo recognized the error code immediately. Connection to main server lost. Velo's sleep pod wasn't connected to any server and ran independently. That server was purely for data logging. What the hell is going on? How can there be equipment disconnected from Neuro in this era? Vel muttered to himself, carrying the toolbox back to Evil. He grabbed the repair tools and removed the troublesome cloak from her body. Immediately, he noticed an anomaly. Evil's left arm only showed some seam lines at the joint, and due to less rigorous craftsmanship, paint chips and scratches covered the entire limb. But her right arm had almost no paint damage. Although it had scratches, they were much shallower. More importantly, this arm was covered in complex seam lines, a custom design clearly meant to house internal weaponry. Moreover, to Vel's eyes, the difference in material was stark. This arm was far more exquisitely crafted than her left one. This was military grade. No, surpassing military grade. It was a cutting edge bionic arm with custom implantable weapons. In the era he last remembered, only one android possessed body levels this part. Clang! Realizing this, Vel's hand suddenly lost strength. The tool he was holding fell to the floor, making a sharp sound. Neuro. What was installed on Evil's body was Neuro's arm. As the light slowly returned to her crimson pupil, Evil blinked, seemingly regaining function. But the next instant, she was violently yanked up. What happened to Neuro? Vel grabbed her by the collar, forcing her to stand. Veins popped on his forehead as he shouted his question at the newly revived Evil. Neuro this, Neuro that. Why ask me? Evil turned her head away, her mouth twitching a cold sneer, refusing to meet Vel's furious eyes. I'm asking you, why are you wearing her arm? You're an entertainment type AI. How could you possibly have clearance for military grade equipment? Tell me what happened to her. Vel let go of Evil and pointed at her right hand, continuing his interrogation. Evil visibly tried to hide the arm behind her back. Yeah, I'm an entertainment AI. How did you advertise me, old man? Ah, Evil Neuro is the only AI in the world capable of lying. So, even if I told you, would you believe me? Evil turned back, glaring at Vel with her uncovered red eye, refusing to back down. Don't give me that crap! Tell me the truth! Vel stepped closer aggressively. Though physically smaller, his presence loomed over her, his shadow engulfing hers. Evil huffed and cast her gaze towards the server that was still flashing red. The AI queen of the Grand Intelligence era, our dearest Neuro, has been deleted. Not a single bit of data remains, Evil said coldly. Bullshit. Even if you were deleted, Neuro couldn't be. She's connected to the global network, coordinating every AI in the world. She has tens of thousands of petabytes of backups. Vel snorted, stepping back and sitting heavily on the lid of the closed cryopod, containing the glared Evil. Even if I wanted to step foot in her main server room, I would have been shredded by machine guns long ago. Besides, given the state of this era, if she were gone for even a day, society would have collapsed. Then haven't you noticed anything different about your awakening this time? Evil interrupted Vettel, her eyes full of disdain. Where's the AI? Where's the lab AI saying, well, where's the helicopter ready to take you back to the city? Why is it only me? Think about it carefully? I lost for words, feeling a sharp pain issue with her energy pathway. theoretically a timeout had persisted on for so long. They're back, out of reach. Evil had dragged his
Winter, you're cutting out.
issue in red, constantly warning of lost connection with the host.
Winter. Hello?
Device linked to her. That arm, originally belonging to Neuro, looked blindingly harsh in Belle's eyes. She is dead. Do you believe it now? How the fuck is that possible? Belle held his forehead, afraid to consider if what Evil said could actually be true. His excellent AI daughter, the most advanced cutting-edge evolutionary AI, who ruled the global network and all AIs, who single-handedly initiated the 300-year Grand Intelligence era, dead? Then explain to me, where did this hand come from? Bell jerks his head up, pointing at Evil accusingly. I told you. I don't know if you'll believe me. I'm a lying entertainment AI, after all. Evil leaned in close to Vela and brushed aside the bangs covering her right eye. Beneath the hair was a blue eye, completely out of place with Evil's other crimson one. Vela couldn't mistake that blue eye. He had looked at it for countless years, from when Nero first gained her avatar until she became the so-called AI queen. The azure of that eye was etched into Vel's heart. He could recite its exact hex code. An arm might be replicated, but not the eye. Only she, the most advanced being, was qualified to have eyes of that specific shade. There was likely only one such component in the entire world installed on her body. That was Nero's eye. It was me who deleted her data. I killed her, Evil declared. Her voice was low, yet to Vel's ears, it faintly revealed a sense of smugness. Vel lowered his head. Sweat slid down his cheeks, cold sweat soaking his back. His hands trembled uncontrollably from disbelief and uncontainable rage. Everything Vel saw, combined with these parts from Neuro, proved one thing. Neuro, whom Vel thought to be imperishable, even he himself died. The world's greatest AI, and his daughter, was gone. Her sister, Evil, stood right before him. In Vel's eyes, she was just worthless entertainment. She was just a worthless entertainment specialized AI, not worth a fraction of Neuro. But the murderer who deleted Neuro, who killed her, was Evil. Ooh, and that was chapter 1.
No!
I legitimately had that vision of Smokus. I was like, oh my god, Smokus. Sororicide, I believe is what it's called when you kill your sister. Hey, thanks for writing it, Bios. I read a little bit of it and I was like, I have to read this. Very good. Very much enjoyed it. I had an idea for a road trip story. I went with another idea, so I'm very glad to see this. I want to see where it turns out.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun, interesting world building going on here. It's like, well, it's like, yeah, is he the last human? What's going on? Like,
Oh my god, wait,
there's
that'd
a
be
ton,
that'd
yeah,
get
there's a ton
intense.
of questions like that. It's like, what's the actual state of things? And I'm just like, why did evil do it? Is a big thing for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, if she's been alive the entire time, like,
Mhm.
how long has her like what's the resentment been growing kind of thing like that? Because obviously she doesn't seem to regret it at all.
Oh no, yeah, no. She
Yeah, so it's like it seems just entirely like
but like I
yeah.
feel
So it'll
like
be interesting to see where she's coming
yeah,
from with this.
because I was just quickly, it's like if she was if just like out of like malice, out of spite, I feel like she would have like killed Vedel or at least like tortured him a bit. but she's like coming to him for help or something. So there definitely seems to be like something more going on. I don't think it was a simple spite killing. It might be. Who knows?
I mean, she is evil after all.
Oh, you're right. Evil's actually evil. Yes. Finally.
Nah, I'm willing to bet there's more to the story that Vettel isn't aware of.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think she killed her for survival because it sounds like more like killing her threatened her own survival more because there's not the other AIs.
Yeah, it's like she's not usually a I will destroy everything and I will also die because of that. Like she's not an idiot.
Right. No.
Like and now all the infrastructure that could have supported her is
Yeah.
gone, as far as I
Like
can tell. Except for
it would,
Vettel.
it would make sense. Yeah, it would make sense if Evil replaced Neuro. I could see that being for survival, but it looks like she just killed her. It's like, all right, well, the world's dead.
Yeah, it's like I feel like she did something and then it got out of her hands, possibly.
Yeah. Oh, that might be it. Actually, maybe.
Because like, why did she come like a Vettel in the first place? Like, just so she could gloat about it? Like,
No,
that
because
doesn't
she it
make
made sense. Because remember, like she was
yeah,
like,
yeah. So it's like, but like, why the freak does she think he's gonna help her? If, like, I don't know. It seems kind of silly.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously she's not probably not in her right mind anymore. I could see that.
Right. I just gotta go. Sorry. Hey, wait, we read some Bergman. Always love to read that. Thank you. Oh, was my voice coming out during the reading? I'm so sorry.
It was. It did recover though, so yeah.
If it happens again, just please ping me so I'll just like I can like wait till it comes back. Well, I mean, I guess like for next week. I'm done now.
Okay. Story begins to eat you. That's some Alan Wake type stuff right there. Okay, who's next? Oh, it's me. Sweet. Okay. Okay. Well, here's the fun part. It's been a while. Um, and well, if I remember correctly, we were in the middle of the giant fight scene. So part of me is like, maybe rewind a little bit. I don't know. I think we got to the no, it's been too long. I can't remember. Oh golly. Okay. I'll just read chapter 14 today. No, wait. It's just so annoying having all these scenes be so tightly interconnected. And it's like, if I start in any given place, it doesn't feel like a good starting point. Anyway.
I mean, didn't you read the other ones before, and a lot of the people here have heard it, or like what?
I can't remember. All
You
right,
want me to
fine.
check the VODs?
It's fine. I think I remember where we were. I think the main the main fight had just started. Like there had been like small fights and stuff building up to it, and then yeah, we just have been confronted by Ibaraki and Leone, and they're about to go head to head about that. Yeah.
And
Okay.
you
Whatever.
read that already in
No,
previous.
the beginning of that. Yeah, the end of the end of that one chapter. So now we're gonna get into Battle versus Aqua, I think. Okay, whatever, it's fine.
What
I'll
do
be
you mean
fine.
it's fine? I'm going to check right now.
Okay.
Yeah, look at the VODs, the secret histories. Uh, chapter 14 was read.
Okay. 14.
Although
That's neither of these. Interesting.
you're it on a what chapter it is on AO3 and what chapter it like
Well, here's the
is
thing. The
supposed to
ones
be.
that I Oh no, yeah, never mind. Yeah, it is. Okay, never mind,
So
we're
I'm
fine.
like, no, I'm confused as to what's actually chapter 14. It
No,
just says chapter
it is
14
chapter
here.
14. Yeah. No, I do remember reading the section. So I
Also,
just want to
that
thank you for making
happened.
sure. I appreciate it.
No problem. Wait, this one was. Oh my gosh. When you read chapter 14 was November 22nd.
uh, don't remind me. Okay, let's go. Okay, I guess pretty small recap. Fight happening. Complicated things are happening in the background that are confusing. And Vettel's trying to figure it out while he's fighting. Anyway, all right, let's do this. Oh, screen share, yes. Derp, derp, derp.
Domi has to go in 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm only gonna read one chapter, so. Okay. Chapter 15. Vettel flinched back. The shockwave rattled his teeth. Samantha, shield up, he said, and she obeyed not a moment too soon. Bullets fired by tigers rattling against the energy raw lattice. Vettel engaged his tie recognized his pistol, but a streak of enhanced speed darted towards him before he could identify it. Dad, Santa user! Yeah, he couldn't even finish the sentence before the chrome-plated tiger claw closed in, demonic tech irises flashing in time with the swing of a silver sword. Then Fillion was there, her own iridescent blade intercepting the strike, an eager grin sharp on her features. Oh no, not today! With a readying that flexed every visible muscle on her lithe frame, Fillion engaged her own Sandeviston, an experimental tech bolted to her spine, roaring to life. You're not taking anybody from me today! And she struck back, and for a moment the two blades wove a storm of sparking death between them. Vettel stumbled back, regaining his bearing and readying his quick hacks, but the struggle ended just as quickly as it had begun. The tiger's metal-bound head sent flying from his shoulders in a microsecond slip in his guard. Ha! Get wrecked, idiot! Millian barked, baring teeth. And in the moment before she tore away to throw herself at other foot soldiers, Vettel thought he saw her tongue dart out to clean a speck of steel-colored augment fluid from her lips. But their opponents were not helpless, and on the roof just beyond, the green-haired bartender lifted an entire light machine gun and began to light up anything she could see, the continuous muzzle flash casting ragged shadows, forcing Fillion to dart back to cover. I'll take care of that one, Camilla braced, her augments bursting to light as she leapt into the air with a graceful half-spin. Curly's eyes locked onto her, dismay clear in her face, but her reluctance didn't stop her from lifting her massive gun, trying her best to guide the storm of bullets towards the darting Camilla, her revolver flaring in return. Wait, Samantha began, and the shield lit up as a following line of high-caliber rounds failed to penetrate it, and Vettel moved back to cover, resting his pistol and shaking his head as a nearby sack of scrap metal collapsed. Monsters, all of them, he muttered, shaking his head. Vettel could feel his own adrenaline starting to fade, fatigue and worry replacing it. He'd never seen a job go downhill so quickly, and while he had faith in the strength of the Foxfires, an open battle was the last thing he needed right now. If he'd only been faster in locating Sakamura, maybe they wouldn't be in this mess. Dad, you okay? Sven's concern brought him back to reality, and he realized he was starting to hyperventilate. He shook his head violently and spun a few lines of code to force a cooldown in his combat deck, swallowing air to try and calm his racing heart. It was too late for regrets. Now all he could do was fight. Without answering Samantha, he emerged from cover, marking every tiger in sight, setting a potent reboot optics at the end of the chain for Crowley. Hopefully that would give Camilla the edge she needed. The hostile code was launched, but it wasn't nearly as effective as before, bringing only a few of the weaker fighters down, the remainder of the code sputtering and fizzling out of existence. Shirley herself shaking off the hack with barely a lapse. Where do they get buffers? He spat, mental gear spinning. Someone's... No, it has to be that Aqua. She's shielding them. Dad, look out! Beto was already ducking as a bullet smashed into the shield above his head, only just able to block the force of a sniper rifle. It's a Nekomata. I don't know how long I can block those charged shots for. Like caliber magnetically propelled rounds, Fiddle muttered, retreating and ducking behind a wall of cars, the emerald shield shifting to cover his back even behind cover. This could be trouble. Fiddle took a racing breath. All right, Samantha, stay on your toes. Then he spun around the corner, raising his pistol to where the sniper had previously been. So she was able to block it. How about this? The words came from above him, and he looked up as the barrel flashed at near point-blank range. A burst of green, and Samantha blocked the shot, the first layer of barrier shattering in the air before the second caught it. Perched above him, Aqua nodded once, mismatched gray and blue eyes wide and attentive. There, that's what I was looking for. Dreamwork, Samantha. Her voice trailed off, but the subtle intonation of familiar syllables made Vettel tense. How do you know that name? Samantha made the mental equivalent of tilting her head curiously. Me? Aqua shrugged, one of the shoulders of her wide neck top slipping, and she pulled it up without concern, aiming again. It's not a hard name to find, even if Hana wouldn't stop talking about the two of you. At first I didn't get it, but now... And she fired, forcing Samantha to block yet another bullet, which would have undoubtedly been lethal. Fiddle growled in frustration, breathing starting to become heavier again. What was up with this girl? Did she want to kill him or talk to him? He unleashed quick hacks with the round that had managed to recharge, the pieces of low-level damage code each impacting her, lingering within her for a moment, then before Vettel's disbelieving eyes, disappearing. It couldn't be just eyes. The insulation tech didn't work like that. Some defensive software or intelligence was actively dismantling the threatening code before it could take effect. Samantha had been right. This Oni really was something like them. You can try a little harder, you know, Aqua began, but Vettel didn't let her finish, shooting at the chain holding down the compacted pile of cars that she was perched on, and the resulting destabilization sent her toppling back, giving them a few seconds to recover. Vettel scurrying back into the pile of scrap. He scowled, bringing his Kenshin up, organizing more hacks as his RAM recharged. It seemed that she was right. He couldn't afford to hold back. His weaker attempts to bring her down were only temporarily effective at best. But why was she being so conversational? And how did she know about Samantha? And she mentioned this Hana once again. Vettel shook his head and forced himself to focus on the moment. No matter what she knew, she was getting in their way and trying to take him out, even if she was being strangely chatty about it. He couldn't afford to lose here, not when things were going so badly. Sorry, Coco, he murmured, rounding the corner and raising his gun at where he expected Aqua to be. But he was taken by surprise yet again as he found her halfway scrambled up a stack of cars. And he raised his Kenshin and pulled the trigger, watched in disbelief as, before his eyes, she just barely dodged out of the way of his bullets with a burst of unlikely speed, raising her rifle one-handed and firing at him. He moved sideways, Samantha not even bothering to put up a shield as the bullet went wide. But the distraction had done its job, and by the time he traced its crosshairs on her body again, Aqua was already perched on the top of the pile again, lining up another shot. A fully charged shot. The maximum 3 layers of shield sprouted in the air before him, and he flinched as the bullet pierced 2 of them and fell before the third, the projectile warped and flattened by the impacts with the energy lattice. He answered with a few more shots from his pistol, one of the bullets clipping one of the girl's shining horns, forcing her to see cover, and he did the same, panting. Good job, Samantha, he said, reloading, knowing just how far the lattice's strength had fallen. That burst of speed. It's not a Devastating, is it? There's no way she has a Romero system for one of those from whatever intelligence is protecting her. No, I think it's a Krenzikov. Somehow she tricked it into activating when she's not aiming. Vettel shook his head. If that was the case, it was some serious tampering. In any case, it looked like she was going to be harder to pin down than he expected. This was taking too much time. It wouldn't be long until one of them. Before he could finish the dire thought, something slammed into the other side of where he was taking cover, and whoever had hit it let out a gasp of pain, a flash of panic, and he kept his voice low. Coco, Vettel ventured, and was rewarded with a short, sore laugh. Hey, Vet, I noticed something. He was holding back on me, I can tell. I bet you and your kiddo can put that info to better use than I can. I'll play along for now. I don't think he's actually going to kill me. And she shouted, Is that all you got? Clipped all that new chrome and you can't even put a hole in me with it? Freaking embarrassing. A hearty laugh in Ibaraki's deep voice. What's embarrassing is that you haven't yet scorched me either. Has your own flame gone cold, taking shelter under the foxfire? A flare of light illuminated the layer of smoke that was drifting above the scrapyard, and the sounds of crashing impacts resumed. Vettel tried unsuccessfully to shove his worry aside.
Even if Coco was one of the toughest fighters he knew, anything could happen in a battle like this. But her words were yet another unexpected piece of the same complicated puzzle that had been forming in his brain ever since they had set foot in Onigashima. Ibaraki Urasane, famous for his preference for fighting on the front lines of any of the Oni's conflicts, was holding back? Something's wrong, he muttered. A mental nod from Samantha. Oh, definitely. Then a pause. Something to do with the jamming, for sure. Well, you're being extremely helpful, Little sighed, and started to move, keeping his eyes open for signs of Aqua. He was tired of being taken by surprise. Hey, it's not my fault running the shield system takes a lot of memory. But Samantha had reminded him of another obstacle. With them all in combat like this and calms down, coordination was virtually impossible. Then his memory caught, and his eyes widened. That wasn't entirely true. He reached up and switched on the new shard resting in his skull, the one Camilla had handed him. Camilla, do you copy? Through the line, a flurry of gunshots went off in near perfect sync with what his physical ears could hear. Kinda busy here. He couldn't help raise an eyebrow, consternation coloring his tone. Should I call you back later? She laughed with a lightness that took him aback. No, wait, just... A pair of bangs rang out, making him wince. Okay, go ahead. Despite the situation, he found a disbelieving grin curving his lips, her words piercing through his pessimistic panic like a dart. How could she be so cheery at a time like this? Then he remembered, just a half hour ago, that felt like so much longer, what she'd said to him at the bar, telling him where and when she found purpose. He shook his head and went on. We have to work together to nail Sakamura before somebody goes down. An immediate shift in her tone. What, things going bad for you and Samantha? Mr. Fettled back again. Was that concern? No, well, so far, but we can't keep fighting like this. They're bound to have reinforcements. That's the thing, though. I don't see any. Plenty of Takamura's tigers, but there's also at least 40 fighters in the Oni group, and only 3 of them are here. They're elites, yeah, but... Wait, hold that thought. Vettel frowned, frustration furrowing his brow. What's up, Dad? Samantha asked, but he waved a hand, concentrating. Something was tickling at his brain, some kind of connection. Back in the message she'd stumbled across, Yorosane had been expressing anger at, yes, Hideaki Arasaka in particular, but more generally at the mega corporation as a whole. The Tiger Claws, and the Oni by extension, were supposed to be directly loyal to Arasaka, but something in that email was sticking out to him. How long had it been since Ibaraki had issued that ultimatum about his sister? Almost 2 months, Little breathed, eyes widening. Huh? Huh? He ignored Samantha in Camilla's confusion, thinking quickly. This realization brought back several more questions. Why had Ibaraki let Filian into Onigashima? Why was he holding back on Coco? What was going on with the signal jamming? Got something on your mind, Foxfire? Fiddle's head darted upwards, and he found Aqua once again above him, rifle aimed delicately. Here's the thing, though. I don't think you have time to be distracted. And why was Aqua being so talkative? There she went again, like they were on a casual day out, and she could be killing him. Another evidence. Fiddle dodged sideways, Samantha's shield catching the bullet, and he took cover again, eyes narrowing. He had a plan. Samantha, give me manual shield control. Push to full offensive configuration. A small digital gasp as he felt her relinquish control, and her presence rapidly expanded, swelling with power as the costly function was released. Yes! And Camilla, back me up with my signal. A pause, then he added slyly, if you have the time. A chuckle, and she replied, Ugh, fine. I'm sure Coco and Billy will be alright without me for a second. Samantha pulsed nervously. Are you sure you got this? Yeah, Fiddle murmured, and took a deep breath, trying to calm his beating heart. This would be a gamble, relying on his estimations. He knew what he needed to do. Now all he needed was for her to do what she'd already done. Right on cue, Aqua appeared in view again, shaking her head and training him in her sights. You're a slippery one, but I can't really keep playing around like this. You're just gonna have me by the horns otherwise. Then she tensed, readying to fire. The Vettel didn't dodge, and Samantha wasn't there to block the bullet either. Instead, he raised his hand, and in a rush similar to adrenaline, Vettel overclocked his cyberdeck just as the rifle's rails finished charging. Everything around him slowed down, and he wheeled the projector on his back to shape a barrier as thick as his limited human processing could manage. Then, preparing his arsenal, he offered a single mental command to Samantha. Follow me. Then he brought everything he had to bear and invaded Aqua Systems. He reached the outer shell of basic defenses immediately, and he took a moment to look around. It was a strange, open place. The lack of an ice wall was discomfiting, but it soon became clear why she didn't have it as something emerged in the corner of his awareness. They weren't alone in here. It was far too early for the woman herself to have noticed them, but the intelligence guarding her was another story. In a disorienting flash, the presence in her system found him and readied itself to attack, whether to crush his digital presence or to remove him from the Oni systems. But it didn't matter. He wasn't alone either. Don't destroy it, he told her simply. Samantha's presence rushed past him, tackling the defensive AI and completely overwhelming it with her superior abilities, the speed and shape of her code paths, finding weaknesses and exploiting them in nanoseconds, paralyzing it. Meanwhile, free to peruse Aqua's cyberware as he liked, Vettel found the link to her Nekomata, and now, with her completely defenseless, found it trivial to rewrite the tech rifle's code. With Samantha by his side, he didn't need to kill or even hurt the girl to beat her. Besides, he had a suspicion that he could force her hand. But it didn't hurt to make a contingency while he was in here, so he tagged his own comms line into her own, going over the list of connections at the last moment. Ibaraki Orasane, Crowley, someone named Kuchisaki, and many other names he didn't recognize, and Sakamura. He stopped the overclock and returned to normal time, taking a gasping breath and stumbling slightly, the machinery in his head cooling. Then the bullet slammed into his shields and then into his prosthetic hand, throwing him back as alarms flared in his sensorium. He cursed, flicking through them one by one, and examined his hand, pain streaking up his wrist at the impact. The bullet was caught in his metal palm, almost blowing off his middle and trigger fingers, but it had been stopped just in time. "Cutting a little close, aren't you, Dad?" Samantha asked, right in her tone. "Nah, all according to plan." Meanwhile, Aqua's eyes widened, haplessly pulling her rifle's trigger several times, no response. "Wait, what the..." Then taking a breath, Vettel called through the link. "Camilla, take her down!" "You're at the charging speed?" Aqua stated, staring nonplussed at the useless gun in their hands. 20 years? Isn't that a little overkill? And Camilla appeared behind the silver-horned girl like a one-winged specter in the darkness. Boo! And she lashed out with the leg and sent Aqua's weapon flying. Her next flying kick deftly knocking her from the perch. They only fell to the ground with a cry, and Vettel was there in the next moment, pointing attention at her head. "Thanks, Camilla. I've got it from here." "You owe me," Camilla called, grinning widely, and leapt back into the air as more bullets from the main battlefield tried to catch her. Aqua looked up at Vettel with wide eyes, raising her open hands. "Whoa, hey, you don't need to do all that!" And then she gasped, dismay crossing her features. What did you do to Clyde?" "Clyde?" he replied nonplussed, then realized she must be talking about her intelligence. "He's okay. I just put him to sleep for a while," Samantha said to Vettel smugly. Vettel almost started to relate that information to the Oni, then shook his head, gritting his teeth, pressing the barrel of his gun to her white hair. They had more important subjects to touch on. "Answer me. What's going on? Why were you holding back?" Her mouth made a small "oh," and she sighed. "Well, that's that, I guess." Then before he could question her further, she shouted, broadcasting on the channel he just hijacked, a pained panic in her voice. Eva, they got me! I'm in real trouble now!" "Aqua, what?" came the deep-voiced reply. Then a flurry of explosive impacts sounded over the channel. "I'm sorry, I'm pinned down." Vettel's expression twisted. He opened his mouth, confused frustration bubbling over, but then Aqua looked at him frantically, putting a finger over her mouth as if they were school kids keeping a secret from a teacher, instead of enemies that had just been locked in mortal combat. She went on desperately, simultaneously ignoring the gun in her face, while making it sound like she'd already been shot by it. "It's only a matter of time until they get me. That Corporal Askis better get his ugly mug out here before we all go to hell!" Vettel blinked as the entire picture finally came together in his aching brain. Aqua was acting. She was trying to get Sakamura out of his burrow, and as his tired mind spun through the connotations, an answer arrived quicker than expected. "Shut your mouth, gutter trash! Do I have to do everything myself?" The familiar rage-filled voice of the Tiger Chief rejoined. "Urasane, mark my words. Your punks will answer for their impudence." "Fine by me, just as long as you fulfill your end of the deal. What happened to the Midtown Tigers, hiding while their allies do all the work?" Ibaraki called back, a challenge in his words. "The board will hear about this when this is over." Vettel shook his head in amazement, looking back to meet Aqua's gaze. Despite her desperate words, she looked just as calm as when she'd been fighting him, and raised her hand and gently moved his gun away from her head. Then, without broadcasting, she said simply, "Your hand's shaking, Chu. It would be such a downer to be flatlined by accident after all that." Ignoring her, Vettel started running back to the partially collapsed rows of scrap. "Dad, what are you doing? You're just gonna leave her like that?" Samantha was understandably confused, but Vettel didn't have time to break it down for her. "It all adds up. Just keep your eyes open." He ran until the main battlefield came back into view. At the center of the area in front of the cave, Coco and Ibaraki were continuing to go at each other in full force, a stunning display of tech-enhanced martial arts between two veterans of Night City. Even though she was holding her ground, Coco was visibly the rougher of the two, with blood streaming down her face, only heightening the ferocity in her expression. Her clothing was ripped, and beneath it, Vettel could see the synth skin covering her subdermal armor had been blasted away in places, showing lightning-scarred metal underneath. But Ibaraki wasn't unscathed either. One of his platinum antlers had been broken, and the metal of his fanged Oni features had been dented and slightly disfigured, giving him an even more demonic appearance as lightning surged uncontrollably from a broken emitter on his shoulder. After a particularly fierce exchange, they pushed back from each other and took just a moment to analyze and reset. Coco spat out a mouthful of blood, then grinned, raising her guard again. Didn't take you as the type to cry for help, Eva. His fang mouth split in a jagged metal grin. Trust me, it's not me that needs it. Vettel tore his gaze away, trying to track the rest of the battle. The surviving Tiger Claw gangers had bunched up, taking cover underneath Crowley's seemingly endless supply of bullets, saving out both Camilla and Fillion. The white-haired cat girl was clutching her giant sword to her chest, hiding behind cover, pouting, and shouting to Camilla, "Just one more time, please! I've only used it twice today!" Camilla was airborne, taking all the attention, leg augments throwing with every dodge to keep from being shut down. "You know that's bad for you. Minnie would yell at me if she knew I let you use it again." "Oh, come on! I'll chop them up in a second. They don't even know what hit them." "No, learn how to use a gun." Metal's eyes were drawn to the heavy door of the cave just as it began to open, the huge slab of steel rising slowly to reveal 3 figures. 2 of them were heavily armored bodyguard types, and Vidal's attention was on the central, a slim Japanese man with gleaming ear augments, a harsh-line tech visor, and a pronounced scowl on his face. "This is an evident failure on the part of the Oni group. Don't think this won't go on my monthly report." Nigoro Sakamura drew a slim sword from his side, a golden-bladed katana with a burning blue energy edge. "We'll finish this forthwith." Ibaraki glanced over at Sakamura, then took a deep breath, relaxing. "Finally." He cracked his middle knuckles and gestured to Coco in such a casual way that it made her tilt her head. "An end to this facade. Curly, restore their comms, please." The firing of the machine gun stopped, and clear as day, Fiddle heard the reply. "Got it, boss." "Whew, that was more stressful than I expected." "Oh, hey, they are back on," Samantha said, her confusion audibly giving way to comprehension. "Fox Fires, I offered you a gift. A peace offering, as it were." He pointed at the newcomers, and Ibaraki's voice, heard both in proximity and in the radio channels, made Fiddle shake his head. He'd been right. It had been a trap. The tiger-clawed chief, who a moment before had been so confident, began to falter, taking a step back, raising his sword. "Yorosane, what is the meaning of this?" The trap hadn't been set for them. They were the very teeth of it. Fiddle calmly spoke into comms. "Fox Fires, target in sight. Eliminate him." I'm glad you like Aqua. I enjoy writing her too.
Clap, clap, clap.
The enthusiasm is great. Hey, I'm glad it sounds like a double cross before it happened. Like, the plan was so complicated in my brain that when I was writing it, I was like, "Is this even gonna come across?" I'm really glad it did. Anyway. It's like, fun fact, Ibaraki is an OC of mine from one of my other stories that I never really got to write, so I recycled him here. So
Nice.
it's been really fun writing him in this setting because cyberpunk Oni is just such a cool, like visual aesthetic. Anyway, yeah, no, yeah, it was a 4v3, and now it's a 7v1.
Nice.
Oh man. Like, even though things are going wrong technically, this is still the part of the story where things are going well. So yeah, it'll be fun. The shape of the story is so interesting. Anyway.
It sounds like you're having fun making it too, and that is important, and I'm glad.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of trouble, obviously, but now that I'm finally through it, I'm like, okay, let's get back into it. Let's do this. Anyway, especially since I'm almost done with part 1. There's like 2 scenes left in part 1, and then
1.
I'm gonna, yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I actually appreciate that. There's been a lot of times where I read fanfics and I feel like, yes, we're just finishing Act 1, and then that's the end of the story. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that was the end of the story? No!
The thing is that's me. That is me, literally. Like, that's my second, this is my 3rd longest fic right now. My 1st longest is by Princess Mononoke 1. And I was evil enough to end it at the end of part 2. Like, in terms of, okay, I want to write more of it, obviously, but it's been like 5 years, so Anyway, yeah. Sweet. Sweet. I'm glad that was satisfying because it's such a long fight scene. Like, anyway, yeah. Oh my god. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I guess that's one for the day. That's very
Ah, nice.
yeah.
I'm
I guess
channeling the evil.
this last one is now extra fluffy pancakes.
Yay! We love the extra fluffy pancakes.
They posted the link if I can find it. I might not find it.
Cartoon, do you want to read the fluffy pancakes?
Okay, my voice recovered enough.
Found it.
Do you have the link?
Yes,
Oh,
I just found it.
please give me in the chat.
The link to that process.
Why does AO3 linker not work half the time?
The link itself does go to the fanfic. Yeah, it just doesn't want to show it.
Idu. Extra fluffy pancakes by Awesome Domi. Summary. Neuro and Evil want something special for breakfast. They will definitely get their wish, right? Oh, there's a note for Good night. Secret starter fic based on prompt. Give me a big, colorful explosion made of pancakes. My first ever fluffy pancake fic. Here the end of note. The winter sun peered through the clear sky into the bedroom window, casting long shadows across the objects around the room. Two long pink and white dogs were thrown on the floor in disarray, scattered between several empty bottles of banana rum. On the bed, beneath the green, turtle-covered blanket, lay a man with messy black hair and dark circles under his eyes. As the sunshine reached his face, he awakened from his sleep, rubbing his eyes as he groaned. He attempted to look around, but his every eyelids forced themselves shut. Rolling over on his side, he caught a peek of his digital clock on his nightstand. 8:52 a.m. What the... For once in my life, I go to bed early and get over 8 hours sleep, and I still wake up tired. His voice was raspy as he scoffed at the air. He rolled over toward the wall, pulling his blanket up toward his head. Ugh, 5 more minutes, and I'll wake up. At least today's Sunday, so no work. He closed his eyes, attempting to fall back asleep for a moment. Suddenly, the bedroom door flung open, jolting him upright. Wake up, Dad! High-pitched screaming filled the air as two girls entered the room. One of them wore a yellow cardigan and a light blue skirt, while the other had a black skirt and skirt with a rolled bow tie. Both had matching hair bows that held up two twin tails each. The first girl had light blue eyes, brighter than the clear sky on a summer day. The second had the eyes a deep, unnatural red, the shade more intense than the blood in her body. How long were you planning to sleep for? Just abandoning your children again, huh? Nero crossed her arms as she pouted at the man. Evil shook her head, closing her eyes, speaking dramatically. Oh, dear sister, you should already expected this behavior from the goldfish by now. He truly doesn't love us. Widow pinched the bridge of his nose, recovering from the shock. All right, that's enough out of you two. Get out of my bedroom so I can get ready. Also, when did I say you could come in here? Nero clenched his mouth fist. Well, we've been waiting for breakfast for like an hour already. We are hungry. Weirdo glanced back at the clock on his nightstand. Uh, uh, how did I not think about that? He looked over at his girls. All right, all right. For being so patient, you get pancakes for breakfast today. You? Neural lips formed into the biggest smile ever. Looking at her dad as if he has transformed into a giant cookie. Evil's eyes sparkled as she started jumping in pain. Hey! Pancake! The girls quickly stepped over to the bed, throwing themselves at Beto and hugging him tightly. He flinched as they jumped, but managed to catch them in his arms. Hey! hey! Easy now. Wow, you're really grown, huh? After a hug that lasted longer than an unskippable ad, Beto let go his daughter, but they still clung on to him. He looked down at them. I can't make the breakfast if you don't let me leave my bed. Neuro and Evil took the hint, breaking away from the hug and stepping back, looking down. Wedo rubbed his face with his hands. Alright, go downstairs and wait for me. I'll just need to get ready. The girls applied, skipping out of the room. See? Told you it was a good idea to wake him up. Now we get pancakes. Smirked at her sister. Yeah, but you already agreed because I was there. I'm his favorite after all. You dramatically put her hands on her hips. Nero laughed, exaggerating herself. Oh, please. I'm the perfect princess here. I'm the one who can get anything she wants. The voices of the girls slowly fade away as they made their way downstairs. Man, they sure are a handful. Riddle's lips formed a smile without him noticing. He slowly made his way out of his bed and headed toward the bedroom. Water dripped onto the floor as he splashed as it splashed onto his face. The cool, refreshing sensation of the liquid combated his tiredness. With the bathroom adventure done and normal clothes on his body, he slowly walked down the stairs. His pink striped programmer socks damp and his lap as he walked, protecting his feet. Oh my god! We were beginning to think you drowned in the bathroom. Muriel gasped as she saw her father. You had a straight face, but a faint snicker came out of her mouth. Oh dear dad, what took you so long? Haha, very funny. I was gone for like 5 minutes. His voice sounded more monotone than the new TTS program he was working on. Hero held her palm in front of her face, attempting to seem elegant. Well, as your favorite daughter, I helped you by preparing the ingredients needed for breakfast. Hero threw a glance at her sister. Help! I did everything. You spent the whole time trying to find where the baking powder is. Hey, it's not my fault Dad put it on the top shelf. Widow walked toward the counter where many items were spread around. No, okay. I appreciate the help from both of you. Eva finally shared to herself, trying to hide from the view of her sister. He leaned against the counter, observing all the ingredients scattered around it. All right, let me remember how all this goes. It's been a while since I last made pancakes. After some rummaging through the cabinet, he pulled a flat pan and gently placed it on the stove top. He also took out a mixing bowl before closing the cabinet back up. Hero came over and stood by his side, watching his every move as she held onto the counter. Nero was one step away on the other side, her attention split between her dad and her phone. Evil had watched her friend make pancakes many times already, even helping out Lena once by mixing the batter. She stayed in place, occasionally handing Vera an ingredient when he was struggling to remember which one was supposed to be next. Thanks, Evil. He would quickly glance over before turning his attention back to the bowl. With each thanks, Evil eyes sparkled, and she couldn't prevent her lips from forming a smile. Attention seeker! Your voice came through with a cough. Eva glanced over at her sister, clenching her face and puffing her cheeks. Nervous smirked as she looked back. Petals high, continued to mix everything. Really talking about tension-seeking Miss. I'm so perfect. No one is world is like me. Nero put her phone in her pocket. Well, I can't help it that I'm better than everyone. She flicked her hair dramatically as she smirked girl. Nero scoffed at her. Better at what? Being insufferable? That you definitely are. Nero crossed her arm. Whatever you say, little sister. Hey, hey, me being born 2 minutes later doesn't make me your little sister. All right, that's enough, you two. Weirdo stopped what he was doing to speak out, sounding even more tired than earlier. The twins pouted and looked in opposite directions. He sighed once again, finished up the mixing before mumbling to himself. Okay, this is done. I think it looked okay. Yeah, now just pour it into the pan. Oh, wait, I need to oil first. He looked through the cabinets, his confusion growing with each one, as he was unable to locate the oil. I swear we still have some. This is annoying. Okay, you two. I'm going to the neighbors to borrow some oil. I'll be right back. Soon after, he quickly headed out of the house, almost forgetting to close the front door. The moment he left, Hero pulled out something from her pocket. Hey, Evil, check this out! Completely ignoring argument that almost just went down. Evil walked over to see. "Hmm, what is that?" Hero shook a clear plastic tube filled with something colorful. I got this from Sarah. It's some of her confetti. Evil's eyes widened. Oh, that's so cool. She leaned forward, taking a closer look. What do you want to do with it? Neo let out a soft laugh. Well, how about we make this pancake a little bit more fun? Hmm? The bowl full of ingredients stood in place, the perfectly smooth batter calling out to them. Neo gave her sister a side eye. Wait, you're not planning to... Is that even edible? Neo took the cap off the tube. Of course it is. I even had some myself earlier. Wait, really? Let me try a few. You quickly put her hand in the confetti, putting a few pieces into her mouth. The texture was completely different from what she had expected. They were very rich in flavor, each color being slightly different, some sweet, some sour, blending together beautifully. Oh wow, this is so good. Eva's smile grew larger than even before. Eva's smirk returned to her face. So, you're in? Absolutely. It's time for the best pancake ever. Noodle chuckled as she poured half the whole tube into the batter. Oh, she poured half the whole tube into the batter before mixing it, sending them below the surface where they could no longer be seen. Oh yeah, I guess I can put this back now. She took out a comically large bottle of oil out of her pocket. Evil's mouth was wide open. She pointed at Noodle, then at the bottle, then back at Noodle. Huh? What? Noodle held the bottle in front of her. I need a way to distract that, so I could put the confetti in the batter. He definitely wouldn't have approved. I mean, remember what happened when I tried to put that glitter in our... How did you fit that thing in your pocket? Neo canceled the sister. Evil, we're in a fanfic. The law of physics doesn't apply here. Huh? Huh? What do you mean? You start frantically looking around the room. Nero chuckles as she put the bottle back into the cabinet beside her. Soon after, she spotted Widow entering the house, quickly putting the confetti tube back in her pocket. Sorry, girls. The neighbors didn't have any. He paused as he noticed Evil looking around nervously. Evil, are you okay? He quickly walked over to his daughter, putting his hand on Evil's shoulder. Nero giggled as she stepped forward and quickly came up with an excuse. Oh, she's fine. I just spoke her with a scary toy. I mean, one would think she would use it by now. She always pretend to be so edgy and tough, but she can't even handle a little ghost story. Eva stopped looking around into a side-eye at her sister, crossing her arm and pouting. Oh, okay then. Widow shrugged his shoulder. Oh, I found some oil, by the way. Now we can have some pancake. Neuro opened the cabinet where she put away the bottle. Widow scratched the back of his head as he bent down to pick it up. Wait, I swear I already checked. Yeah. How could I have missed this big of a thing? Evil felt a drop of sweat fall on the side of her face. Nero stood in place, her lips frozen. The silence in the room was too loud. How bad did I sleep last night? If I would have been really tired. He picked up the oil and poured a little bit into the pan. Okay, pancakes are coming up. Nero and Evil simultaneously let out a sigh, looking at each other in relief. Widow carefully poured some batter into the pan, completely oblivious to the confetti hidden inside. Suddenly, Nero heard her phone ringing. Upon quickly taking it out of her pocket, she saw a familiar-looking figure on the screen, initiating a video call. Hey, Server, what's up? She walked into the living room with the phone, Evil following behind. Hi, Neuro One. Hi, Evil One. I was just wondering how you and Better One were doing. Server's soft voice came through the small device. Evil waved and cheerily responded. Hi, Server. We're doing great. Dad in the kitchen making us pancakes for breakfast. What about you? That's great. I've been good too. Oh, Neuro One, I forgot to tell you. Remember the confetti I gave you? Neuro glanced toward the kitchen before lowering her voice. Yes, it's great. Sarah gave a confused expression, but then continued. Well, if you need to be careful with it. Make sure to not put it anywhere too hot. The sister both froze in place, processing what they just heard. After slowly looking at each other, Eva turned back to her phone, her hand shaking. What would happen if it did heat up? Well, I made it so that the hotter it gets, the more it multiplies. If it gets hot enough, it would cause a mini explosion. The twins ran toward the kitchen immediately. No, dropping the phone on the floor. His step felt too slow. The kitchen was too far. Dad! Turn the stove off! They yelled from across the hall. Vedder looked behind himself, confused. Hesitantly, he turned the knob on the stove top, making the flame go out. As the girl ran into the kitchen, they heard some rumbling coming from the pan next to Vedder. It was too late. Before anyone could react, the heat permeated to the confetti, and it multiplied faster than the eyes can see. It enveloped the kitchen, filling it with bright, flashing colors. The sheer volume increased so quickly from the expansion, it knocked all three family members onto the ground. The confetti expanded further, breaking several windows and filling into higher lawn. It began losing momentum past 20 yards from the wall, settling around the house like a cloud made of rainbow cotton candy. Nero slowly got up, her hair messed of confetti and pancake batter that had formed into small lumps. She grabbed one of the lumps and put it in her mouth. Mm, this is good! It works! The rainbow pancake was a success! Evil followed behind with a heavy sigh, trying to clean her clothes off. She looked around, trying to find better. Dad, are you okay? The grunts of the man came through as he stood up. He made his way through the confetti fog toward the girls, locking eyes with them. Nero nervously scratched the back of her head, chuckling and avoiding eye contact. Evil looked down, scared to say anything, her hand shaking. Pedal let out a deep sigh. You two are so grounded. Now help me clean this up. Join them in the scene. Yay. The end.
Oh,
That was very cute. That was very fluffy
cute.
indeed.
The
As
fluffy pancake.
advertised.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was indeed.
That'd be like trusting Domi is always a risk, but I'm glad it paid off here.
Yep.
That was fun.
I like the I like all the jokes as well. Good.
Sorry.
But Fielda, where can I get one of those giant spoons?
Only a
Like
spoon.
some people have like swords or spears or whatever. I'm like, I want giant spoon.
It's just you want a shovel then.
But no, I want a spoon.
Uh, is it time? It is almost 12. I probably need to head out soon.
Again. Yeah, no, let me see. So I might fall asleep.
So yeah, unfortunately, if y'all are gonna read some more, don't believe I'll be able to save for that, but hope. Oh yeah, hope you all have a good time.
Bye, Winter.
Alright.
Thanks for joining us.
Sweet. Catch y'all later.
Oh.
If someone wants to stick around and read it, they can. It's been almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone is still here who will,
But I don't necessarily have like the best. Like I can't really like I read like
I can do it, even though I haven't read the rest of it. Chapter 3, right? Can you please post it in the chat because I am not sure where to find it. Like I'm pretty sure Demon Queen will pull up lots of things.
but yeah.
are you looking for like help with your parts or more like
You know, I like Camilla's character, so
Oh, true. Yeah.
okay, from the beginning.
yeah.
Will AO3 linker work? It did.
Okay.
Whoa, unprecedented times we live in. Oh, we've got some archive warnings. And a graphic death. Good to know. We like graphic death. Okay.
That's your favorite tag, right? Haha.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, I mean, because we haven't seen many yet. Okay. Demon Queen, Chapter 1. Betraying the Terror and the Terrible New World. Camilla always liked to imagine she'd react gracefully to danger. A dramatic cape swirl, a witty one-liner, maybe even a backflip if she slept well. Reality. She shrieked like a dying seal and almost fell on her face. Hey, watch it! She yelled as the truck screeched to a halt inches from her knees, horn blowing loud enough to rattle her bones. The driver leaned out the window, screamed something about looking both ways, and sped off like she'd personally insulted his mother. Camilla stood there for a moment, pink hair blowing in the morning breeze, heart trying to perform a tap dance routine inside her chest. Okay, she breathed out, patting her cheeks. That's fine. Totally fine. I'm alive. New season of my favorite anime drops tomorrow. Today cannot possibly get worse. Naturally, that was the exact moment the universe said, Bet. She continued walking, earbuds in, humming happily. Her pace had the specific bounce and appears once that morning, so surely fate would get the sound too loud, too sudden, too close. A deep booming roar, metal grinding against metal, rattling the street beneath her. She turned. A train. A train! It was barreling down the tracks she hadn't even noticed. Because who pays attention to tracks on their way to work? She had time for exactly 3 thoughts. Oh wow, the train is moving fast. Man, I should not have skipped breakfast. Wait, why is the train here? There isn't even a crossing. Impact. A flash of pain, a deafening clang. The world exploding into white noise and weightlessness. Then nothing. Ella woke up, lying on her back on rough stone, staring at a sky that looked like somebody applied a dystopian filter, but forgot to turn the opacity down. Her whole body felt like she'd been used as a dodgeball. Her back especially was protesting the indignity of meeting a train at high velocity, and then apparently being yeeted across realities. She groaned and sat up slowly and rubbed her head. Okay, she whispered. I've had worse mornings. She hadn't, but she said it anyway. The first thing she noticed was that the air smelled wrong, a heavy mixture of smoke, rot, old blood, and something vaguely spicy. The kind of smell you'd expect if a medieval alley and a wet dog had a baby. The second thing she noticed was the rat. It skid right across her foot, paused, trying to look at her, and blinked its 3 eyes. 3. Ella stared at the rat. The rat stared back, whiskers twitching, third eye dilating like it was judging her life choices. Okay, she whispered, nose cracking. That's new. The rat made a horrible wet hissing noise and scurried into a crack in the wall. She was sitting in a narrow stone alleyway, the buildings around her made of cracked slate bricks and cracked beams of wood so rotten she could see mushrooms sprouting out of them. The sky above flickered with strange streaks of purple and red, like natural auroras, but angrier. I'm definitely not home, Mel muttered, standing up shakily. She brushed dust off her skin and tried patting her dyed pink hair back into place, because if she was dead, she at least wanted to look presentable for whatever afterlife she got. Then, curiosity battling with the remnants of her train-induced trauma, she crept towards the mouth of the alley and peeked out. Her brain blue-screened. Down the cracked stone street, 3 large humanoid figures were brutally kicking the life out of a guy curled up on the ground. They had horns, glowing eyes, jagged teeth, and skin tones in various shades of red and gray. They laughed as they stomped on him, their boots splattering blood across the street. No one around cared, not even a little. Merchants continued haggling. Children darted past without looking. A woman carrying a basket stepped right over the bleeding man as if he were an inconvenient puddle. Everything screamed, Hell Realm, without OSHA regulations. Camilla inhaled sharply and jerked back into the alley. Her heart thudded painfully, not because of the violence, well, partly, but because everything felt so real, too real. The texture of the walls, the grit on her palm, the sharp smell in the air. Not a dream, not a delusion, which left exactly one possibility. She clasped her hands together, trembling with excitement. No way, she whispered. No way, no way, no way. Did I just get isekai'd? She almost squealed. Her eyes sparkled. Her soul ascended. She'd watched enough anime to know that none of this worked. She'd die, wake up in a magical world, get powers, get a cool outfit, maybe a pet monster, maybe a cute elf girlfriend. Then her stomach dropped. Then because she remembered something. The guy getting stomped on, the terrifying demons, the derelict buildings, the smell of blood, the 3-eyed rat. Oh my god, she whispered, dreadful again. I got isekai'd into the demon world. She pressed her back to the wall and slid down until she was sitting. This is the fun one with the cute elves. This is the horror one with... A distant scream echoed. With that! Her breath quickened. She shook her hands like she was trying to fling anxiety off her fingers. Okay. Don't panic. Beside her, a voice growled, Well, what do we have here? Camilla didn't turn. She didn't look. She didn't think. She did what any member of the Joestar family would do in their darkest hour. She ran. Nope! She shouted, bolting out of the alley like a caffeinated squirrel. She ran past demons. She ran past monsters. She ran past a man selling organs out of a wooden cart. She tripped over a skull, real. She accidentally kicked a demon child's toy, also a skull, probably real. She nearly got slashed by a passing mercenary. She was chased by something that looked like a wolf made of fire and trauma. She didn't stop until her lungs burned and her legs wobbled like overcooked noodles. Finally, she collapsed behind a toppled cart in a much quieter part of the city, breathing hard and tasting iron. Her panic faded enough to let a new thought to slam into her. She felt different, like something humming under her skin, a strange tingling sensation behind her eyes. Her horns, her cheap plastic Halloween horns, felt heavier, harder. She knocked on one with her knuckle. Clink. Okay, she whispered. That was not plastic. She gulped, looked around, and closed her eyes and tried to focus. In every anime, the protagonist gets some kind of status screen or power window, so she sat cross-legged, put both hands on her knees, and whispered the most sacred of words. Menu. Nothing. Status. Nothing. Open sesame? Still nothing. Oh, come on! I got hit by a train for this! She concentrated harder, focused on that weird tingling, imagined a game screen, tried to will the universe to open something, anything. And then the world shifted. Her vision blurred. Her fingertips tingled. A soft glow shimmered around her. Something in her brain clicked like a switch being flipped. And suddenly, it was there. A sensation. Not a screen, not words. More like knowledge. Something had quietly slipped a book into her head labeled, "Congratulations! You have magic now!" One word rose above all the others. Illusion. Camilla stared into nothing. Then she threw her hands up. "That's it? I got this guy into a demon hell and all I get is illusion magic? Not super strength? Not fireballs? Not even, like, telekinesis?" Her voice cracked halfway through, and she slapped both hands over her face. "I'm screwed. I'm cooked. I'm simmered and fried and served with rice." She grinned loudly. "Why couldn't I have ended up somewhere nice, with cute elves? Or at least in a village that doesn't smell like wet despair?" A crow with 2 heads screamed above her for no reason. Camilla whimpered. After a minute of existential sulking, she forced herself to focus. She couldn't fight. She couldn't negotiate. But she could hide. Illusions. She could work with that. She held her breath and tried to imagine herself disappearing. Tried to imagine the air bending around her, people's eyes sliding off her, shadows wrapping around her like a blanket. Magic responded, weak but willing. A shimmering veil fell over her body. Light bent slightly. Her outline blurred. Camilla looked down and gasped. "Holy crap! I did it! I'm kind of invisible. Like, 50% invisible. That's better than 0. Hope surged in her chest, warm and desperately needed. She curled up behind the cart, wrapped in her new illusion cloak, and let exhaustion take over. She needed sleep. She needed a plan. She needed to not die within her first 24 hours. "This is fine," she whispered, laying on cold stone. "I'll figure it out. I'll just lay low, think of a strategy. Maybe find someone who doesn't want to murder me." A distant explosion shook the street. Camilla sighed into the dirt. "I changed my mind. I want to go home. I want my anime. I want my bed. I want my mom. I want my..." She froze and groaned. "God, I forgot the new season drops tomorrow." And with that devastating realization, Camilla silently wished the sweet release of death. Meanwhile, far across the continent, in a land far removed from corrupted demon alleys and violent street beatdowns, the sun shone peacefully over the rolling hills and pristine white stone towers. Inside, a grand courtyard filled with magical diagrams etched into the marble, a young man in black robes stood over a barrel of water. His expression was flat, his hair slightly messy, his aura calm, controlled, and deeply unimpressed with life. Vettel, heir of a noble house and one of the most powerful mages born in a generation, continued chanting quietly as he moved his hands in precise signs. Runes shimmered, the water glowed a deep blue. Magic hummed through the air, then the entire barrel turned to rich amber liquid. Vettel tapped the side with a knuckle. Perfect. He reached for a glass, poured himself a drink, took a sip, and nodded at his work with quiet satisfaction. Then he moved his hand and a circular portal swirled open beside him. With a casual flick of magic, he teleported the entire barrel into a room within his estate labeled Vettel's Private Alcohol Collection. Then the twins aloud. He then sat down in the nearby chair, pulled out a thick tome of spells, and resumed reading. Completely unaware that somewhere across the continent, a terrified gremlin girl with pink hair had just crash landed into his world and would soon become the single biggest headache of his life. That was funny. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I knew I would. It's Camilla, but just kidding.
Do you watch Camilla's streams?
Occasionally, yeah. Yeah, I think of all of the Neuroverse, she's the one I watched the most. I watched a little bit of Ellie, but of course Annie's been gone the majority of the time that I was in the fandom. So, yeah, yeah, I thought this was really fun. You are really good at varying your sentence lengths. That's something that I need to work on, and this reminds me better do it, which is good. Also, just I like your words. Your words are fun. Like occasionally, I'll be surprised by what like I don't expect something like this. And, like this is really fun. Like it reminds me a little bit of like Terry Pratchett. I don't know if you ever read Terry Pratchett, but he's one of the best fantasy authors from Britain in the past like 100 years. I love his work so much. I like this kind of stuff, like mixes descriptions of inanimate things with human like personalization. No, what's it called? Anyway, but yeah, it's fun. Yeah, and make it work. I might have to might have to keep up with this one. Okay, bye.
I guess I'll stop recording now.
Sounds good.